Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Hope you're all having a great night. We get everything transferred over here. We're live. Oh my gosh. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the RantCast Podcast. This is episode 56. Once again, I hope everybody's having a great night, and hopefully you'll have a great Thanksgiving and or holiday, whatever you're celebrating in the world. I am your host, Joshua, also known as The Strange Bus. You can find me at twitch.tv/TheStrangeBus. That's twitch.tv/TheStrangeBus. Joining me tonight is your other host, Kurgan, also known as HeroQuest Fans. And you can join him at twitch.tv/HeroQuest Fans. That's twitch.tv/HeroQuest Fans. You can also find him on YouTube. That's XSC3, home of HeroQuest Fans. I'm going to be bringing him on here shortly. But real quick, just want to let you guys know, the music that you're hearing today is brought to you by Karl Casey at White Bat Audio. That is Karl Casey at White Bat Audio. If you'd like to use this music in your projects, you can visit him at YouTube. Just search up White Bat Audio. If you'd like to donate, if you feel the music is great, you can look him up at his PayPal. He moves some things around, sorry. Or you can donate to his Bandcamp. That's karlcasey.bandcamp.com. I'm looking over here like trying to find his Bandcamp. Anyway, hope everybody's doing well. Once again, I said that for the third time. I'm bringing Kurgan on. Kurgan, you are on whenever you're ready.
Cast.
I just caught cast. Man, you come in strong.
Cast.
There we go.
Oh, man.
Back. Ah, Bohemius.
Bohemius. Turkey for me and a turkey for you. Let's eat some turkey and a big brown stew. Sorry for that. We're going to get copyright struck by Adam Sandler for that one, but I had to do it.
That's right.
I had to do it. Couldn't help myself.
Gobble,
Yep.
gobble.
Oh, man.
Anyway, happy soon to be Turkey Day to everybody, because we won't be doing a podcast during Turkey Day.
Nope. Taking the
all
weekend
you guys
off.
Have a wonderful, I'll probably say this at the end of the podcast, but I hope you guys have a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving. If you do celebrate Thanksgiving, I understand that we might have some viewers outside of the U.S. Who may not celebrate Thanksgiving, or they might have a different holiday. So not trying to play it safe here, just being aware for people who celebrate other holidays. But, if you are celebrating this wonderful holiday that we celebrate, which is just Glutton's Day, eat all the food that you can in one sitting. Please be safe, please be responsible, and don't fight with your family. It's a time of togetherness, I only talk about politics on Thanksgiving. That's the safe thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, chew your food.
Bicker and argue about who killed who,
Yeah. I know I'm going to get I know personally, and I know this is a thing for people, but I know personally I'm going to get an election reference at some point in time in at my dinner table, and everybody's going to drop their forks, and they're going to go, yep, and they're going to pass me the mashed potatoes, please, and they're going to try to divert. So, so we're going to be doing a lot of that.
Yep. Do what you got to do. So get the cranberry sauce going. Come on.
Wherever you are in the world, hope you're having a great night. We're going to have a pretty good show for you guys. I am, just a warning, I'm going to be doing this a lot. I am sick. I've got an upper respiratory infection thanks to my youngest son, who is always in the spirit of giving, no matter what time of the season it is. But on a good note, we actually finalized the adoption for my youngest son, who, I'll be calling him officially my youngest son. That'll be December 17th. So we go to the courthouse. We actually finalize that. And that is a great moment for me. I've been fighting really hard. My wife has been fighting really hard to make sure that happens. So I know I haven't asked you how you're doing yet, Kurgan, but I'm just getting all this stuff out of the way now so I don't forget. But that is a big moment for me. I know we've been busy the last couple of rant casts. I haven't been present a lot of stuff's happening, and that's always my excuse. But that's one of the big reasons. I've also been out in Milwaukee. My boss took me and my crew out to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I think I posted one picture, maybe on my Discord, where I was out on top of my hotel roof. I was having a cigar. They allowed me to do that. I went to a nice Italian restaurant, which I can post on my Discord again. And then I went to a Milwaukee Bucks game. It was all paid for. Everything was paid for. My hotel, the trip, everything, all paid for by the company. So, public thank you. Hopefully I was able to state all this stuff. I don't think any of this stuff was secret, but a public thank you to my boss David, for just the wonderful time. I know he's thanking us for working hard, but I've never been to a basketball game, so it was a wonderful time.
Never been to a pro game.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. And Bohemius, but
hey, Joe. Yeah. Hey, Bohemius.
But yeah, it was a busy time, and Milwaukee right now is snowing. Like I just got out of the city as it started to snow really bad. So not snowing here, but it was snowing real bad. Yeah. And you got the Great Lake out there, so I mean it's wonderful city to be if you're just like passing through, or if you're like, staying for a couple days, because you can get to see a couple things, get to eat really good food. Maybe catch a game if you've got somebody who will drive you, because that's what I did. I'm not paying $40 for parking. Is ridiculous for me. So, but yeah, it was a great time, and I don't know. So much else has happened. I don't know where else to go for. So I'm just gonna I'll probably be talking for hours if I keep going. But those are the two main things that's happened the last couple weeks. Besides that, I am congested. I'm a little sick. I'm going to try to keep myself muted if that happens. I know we got the power hour coming up. After that, we're going to have a couple topics in regards to, let me go ahead and pull my itinerary up here for you guys. We've got a couple things regarding some movies, video game consoles. Ubisoft has taken some heat the last couple weeks. I have been wanting to talk about that, but I haven't been around. So if you guys are interested after HeroQuest, you want to talk about some of that stuff, that'd be great. Me and Bohemians tend to get into it about whether or not you're going to keep your games. So be prepared for me and him to fight a couple rounds on that. I'm just kidding, Bohemians. But yeah, go ahead, Kurgan. My wife is giving me a call. I'll go ahead and switch it over to you real quick. And then I'll be right back. But go ahead.
All right. So we got my little video there.
Yeah, let me go ahead and bring this back up in Discord here real quick.
So I think I can just share my screen there.
A full screen. Yeah, pop out.
Hope you feel better.
There you go. Take it away.
Oh, yeah. So these, except for these here, are bootleg dice. So Doug Hopkins, if you're watching, just cover your eyes. Cover your ears. You didn't hear this. But I was noticing that, I mean, these have been out for a while. This is VictoryDesigns. So we've already got dice that are kind of similar to the ones we'll be getting, the official ones. But notice that these are not translucent. But, I mean, they look pretty good. Of course, the lighting's all off. This is LED lighting, so everything looks blue. But, I mean, these kind of remind me of the Jungles dice a little bit. But, yeah. So, I guess the point is fans will do what they do, and if something becomes scarce, somebody else is going to make it. I mean, here you've got bone-colored dice, like we had at Gen Con for First Light, which they're not using. They're just using the white dice. So here's knockoff Dreadveil dice. I've got the real thing, but yeah, it's not as fancy. And my research, my analysis was basically you've got on Etsy, you've got VictoryDesigns and you've got ForgeofNuln. And ForgeofNuln, Forges, I always forget. He's on our Discord, so you can actually talk to him. But my understanding is both the guys basically do this, have the same exact process, the same technique. It's laser etched. It's done in a factory in China. It might be the same factory for all we know. But like I've gotten their glow in the dark dice. It's the same stuff. It's really hard to tell the difference once they're side by side. So anyway, but yeah, there's all kinds of like fun dice out there. I still prefer the rounded corner dice. I don't like the square corners as much, but that's not what I mainly wanted to talk about today. Today, I want to talk about a few things, and I don't know if anybody. I tried to get in connection with Axian on our Discord, and because of the time difference, it's like 4 a.m. for him, so he can't be here. But I want to talk about some HeroQuest paid mods. Now, in principle, I don't have anything against somebody making a HeroQuest mod and selling it, because that's allowed. That's allowed. Back in the day, if you remember, back in the 90s, they would sell magazines. So it wasn't just White Dwarf, but you also had fanzines, they called them, these fan magazines. Usually they were pretty cheap. Sometimes they'd be given away for free, but usually, you have a subscription, you pay your money, you get a magazine, and it would have like a custom scenario for Dungeons and Dragons, and it would have a custom quest for HeroQuest. And it's like, okay, you paid for the magazine and you've got some content. I mean, unless you were me and you'd go to the newsstand and you'd read it and you'd memorize it and you'd take notes and then you'd go home and you wouldn't buy the magazine. But with these, you probably did. So paid mods have always been a thing for HeroQuest. But I think in that in-between period when HeroQuest was not in stores anymore, so like 96, 97, until like right up until the re-release in 2021, people just made mods and just put them online. So you'd have PDFs, you'd have Word documents, you'd have JPEGs of quests that people had made, custom cards. And yes, a lot of them, it was just reworking the original stuff. I make a quest for my friends or my family and nobody sees it but us. But I mean, what if I put it on the internet? Now the whole world can see it. So I want to make some comments about some mods that I was looking at. But at the same time, like, just put up the usual disclaimer, which is that I don't actually own any of these. So I can't, these aren't really reviews. So some of these I'm going to talk about are BountyQuest, UltraQuest, ExtraQuest, AxianQuest, Heroic Adventures, SundayQuest. I may not get through all of them, but we'll try. So people are asking about these, like, hey, has anybody played this? And it was highlighting an issue that I have with a lot of these mods, is that usually what happens is you'll have some person who creates a HeroQuest mod and they want to sell it. They want to get paid. But because of the way copyright and everything works, they don't own the stuff. So Avalon Hill is not very litigious, but Hasbro is, if they want to be. So you've got to change the name. You can't call it HeroQuest. You got to call it something else. So that's why you have this proliferation. Can't even say it. You have this. It's like Porky Pig. You have this explosion of blank quest. Where somebody has put their own name on it, and they obviously are telling you, hey, it's compatible with HeroQuest. If you have HeroQuest, you can use my content to enhance your adventure. This is my idea of how HeroQuest is cool. Now, I also don't want to sound like I'm jealous, because I've made homebrew rules and I've never tried to sell them, and I probably never will. I don't see myself doing that. I prefer to just give it away for free. But here's my bottom line. Usually the stuff that I do is just a tweak or modification of something that's already in the game. I don't feel like that's worth buying. That's just, you're going to look at it and more than likely you're either going to ignore it or you're going to modify it further to your liking, season to taste. So if I put out a quest book and I put out my own custom dice and I put out my own miniatures that you could print and all this stuff, it's going to be a hard sell to get you to buy it. So I feel like some of these mods, what they do is they start out on social media. So it'll be like SundayQuest. My understanding is SundayQuest is the guy put the stuff on Facebook. And so people in the little Facebook group look at it and give feedback and maybe play test it. And then he releases it. And with SundayQuest, you can buy the stuff on Amazon, as an actual booklet, physical booklet, or you can just download the PDF on Yield In, which I think is great. And his version, well, I'll get into it more, but his version is just, it's basically pretty much the same as if you had printed it out yourself. Maybe you pay a few cents more. So he gets a tiny, tiny profit, but that's SundayQuest Adventures. But a lot of these, it's like if you don't see in the original context, you have no idea what you're getting. You just know I'm getting some quests in a book. I'm getting some cards. But what? Like, what am I buying? So it's kind of like a blind buy. So I feel like what these folks need to do is they need to like include some kind of like demo video or review or something associated with the website where you buy it to show you what you're getting. I'm not saying you have to spoil the entire thing, but I mean just like sell it. I mean, I know just because you can make a mod doesn't mean you're a marketing genius, doesn't mean you know how to do that, but pretend that you don't know anything about the product. What is it that people are going to want? Why do they want your product instead of you know whatever Popcorn Quest or whatever the other one is? So let's take a look at some of those here. I'm just going to pull up a little window and we'll take a look at some of these websites. So I feel like if we had the developers, if we had the designers here, I would love to give them feedback. I would love for them to say, oh, well, the reason you don't see this is because of X, Y, and Z. This particular, there's a particular reason why, you're not seeing what you want. But let me just give you an example. Starting here. So this is UltraQuest. And I think the first thing that my eye lit on for this is on Etsy. And again, none of this is sponsored. I'm just putting this out there because people talk about it. So what is UltraQuest? So the first thing you see is that's the Rogue Heir of Elethorn right there. They changed the colors. And then there's the elf, the dwarf, barbarian. Everything's familiar. It's like somebody did a Clark Mitchell on this. Like maybe they ran it through a filter, they did some AI tweaking to it. So it looks very much like maybe a little too obvious that this is HeroQuest. Like I get there's a fine line between trying to make it look like it's it like fits in with the set you've already got and just kind of like barely changing it at all. So, it's like copied and pasted. But the thing is, like, when I see something like this, I'm much more forgiving of it being copied and pasted because to me, this is just a fan creation. And that's what it is. It's not official. Like, if Hasbro tried to sell me what you're looking at, I would say, wrong. Start over, guys. You need to go back to the drawing board. This is cheap. This is like low effort. But when it's a fan doing it, I get it. Not everybody is, high caliber artist. Maybe you don't have the funds to like hire somebody, or you don't have like really expensive software to do the things that you want to do. So you just do the best you can, and it's like great. Now he is selling it for $15, and I see it's part 3 of 12, the Rogue Heir Chronicles. And I mean the idea behind it, the basic idea sounds fine. Like the Rogue didn't have his own quest pack, so having some kind of quests that go with this character is nice. You're limiting the appeal a little bit because not a lot of people have the Rogue. I mean, it's one of those smaller Hero Collection expansions. You're kind of limiting yourself a little bit there. And there is a tendency of these fan-made booklets to require multiple expansions to play it the right way. Like, oh, you got to own these assets and these other assets and these other assets. So they're for super fans. But in this case, he's selling. I believe this is a digital. Yeah, it's just a PDF for $15. Is it really worth $15? I'd say that's way too much. Way too much. I don't care if it's 10 quests. I mean, it says 30 pages, and at first that sounds pretty impressive. But you think about the Crypto Perpetual Darkness quest book is 27 pages, and that's 10 quests.
Okay,
So
sorry to interrupt. I am back.
yeah,
I appreciate
he's
you just
back.
running that for me. So
Yeah,
what?
no
Catch me
problem.
up to speed here. What we are?
Okay. Yeah,
Just
so I'm talking
summarize.
about various fans out there that have permission to sell HeroQuest mods as long as they change the name. And basically, my hidden message is I'm not going to buy this stuff. And there's several reasons why. The first one is there's a tendency within the HeroQuest community to put the stuff out for free because everybody is so opinionated and so like focused on how they play the game because everybody makes the game their own. But if somebody puts out a mod, you're going to change it anyway. Like maybe you feel a little bit of desire when Avalon Hill puts out something to like maybe the first time you play it, strictly the way they do it. But everybody's got their own house rules, and it quickly diverges. So it's kind of like, what's the point of having like a special card that's a variant? Like in this case, he's got a variant of these cultists. He's got 2 identical cards that are just a different color, and it's like, okay, well, the original box has that. You've got the
Okay,
cultist, Rise of the Dread Moon, but
so
why do I need?
sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
So by HeroQuest
yeah.
mod, and this is just a question. Sorry, I'm sorry. I don't mean to like completely cut you off here. So
No, no. Ask you.
by mods, is it just like a mod of like an expansion or the base game? Are we just like, is this like a cosmetic change only? Because you're talking about the cards, like, so what is the purpose of the mod itself?
Right. Yeah, it is an expansion. It's an unofficial expansion made by Eric Lefebvre in this case. So he's giving you a quest book of, I believe, 10 adventures, and this is part 3 of 12. So I looked at the other ones, and for the to buy the entire series, it'd be $30.
So
But there's
DLC.
pretty much, yeah, yeah, yeah. These are, but see, this is a digital file, so these cards you print out yourself, which
But
I kind of like
what
because
keeps people from grabbing this from other people and just running the quest themselves?
nothing at all. So yeah, I could buy this and I could print it out for all of you, uh, and he wouldn't be happy, and I'd kind of be a jerk for doing that. I wouldn't do
Oh,
that, but
okay, and is this just cut out? So like it's a digital thing. You have to print all
yeah,
this stuff out yourself.
yep. So you got to pay more money, but I mean, you could print this on your home printer, or you could send it to Board Games Maker and
So
spend a
when you
bunch of money.
pay the $15, you get digital access to this. You don't
Yeah,
get any physical product.
correct.
Of course, I'm asking you this, I'm reading it. It says digital download, and it comes in a PDF file. So I'm just to clarify here once again. That's probably saves them on cash because they don't have to make anything physically.
Yeah,
Um, so I could see it, but I think we mentioned this either a year or two ago when I was talking about how like HeroQuest was how this stuff would kind of be, I think, redundant because people can make these things on their own without
yeah,
it costing anything.
yeah,
Um, and how
100%.
this kind of feels like we're trying to do stuff in the uh like the board game space, but we're taking ideas from like the video game space. You want different cosmetics for your like, or you want different card designs? Pay for them, you know.
Yeah,
But like
yeah,
the community does this and probably does
yeah.
way more
You're
diverse
paying.
designs than this. Like these two just look the
Yeah,
same.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know.
I'm feeling what you're dishing out because, and you'll see in my next example even more. Like I've made HeroQuest mods and I put them online for people. I don't know if anybody's used them ever. I don't really care if they have or not. But my thing is, if they did, they probably just borrowed 1 or 2 ideas and then just went off in their own direction with it. Like I just take like a design that already exists and modify it. Like he just Clark Mitchell these pictures. So it's like I'm I'm gonna Clark Mitchell his pictures. So what's the point? Yeah. I mean,
well,
I guess now here's something. Here, check this out. Let's say I pay this guy and he sends me the file, and I take these pictures of the cultists and I open them up in my favorite painting program and I modify them some more and then I print them out. Ah, see, if he sold me a
mhm.
physical card, then I'm scanning it and then I'm modifying it. So he's making it easy for you to modify it from the outset.
Well,
That doesn't sell me on it. Like to me, I this is not worth $15 to me.
what
Sorry.
what what gives you, or what keeps it from being like, from them saying, "Oh, you can't do that because it's like copyright," or like what keeps you from like, because
I don't know.
I know people that do that, but like you can't like, you were saying like Clark Mitchelling that, like, I don't know if you could take his designs and just reskin them, right? Don't you have to
Well,
put your own
so
designs on them? Like you could take
this
the
guy,
story probably, but can't you like redesign you have to fully redesign
yeah.
that elf, right?
I don't know, because this guy has taken the official stuff and he's just modified it and he's selling it. So what if I take his stuff and modify it and sell it? Like, am I am I legally allowed to do that? I mean,
So
maybe it's a dick move to do that, but
but to answer your question, or to counteract that, Bohemius is like, not everyone got the skill, imagination, or will to do it. This is a service offered. I totally understand that. So,
yeah,
and what I'm grasping my brain around this is, doesn't a community offer this service for little to nothing already?
yes,
Like, hey, we've got some new quests up on this forum, or we've got quests that you can download for nothing, or if you'd like to donate or do something, you can get this book of quests, or you can get these cards, these new cards that we've made to support us
yeah,
and stuff with. I get that they want to do it. I'm not saying that it's bad they want to do it, but looking at this now, I'm looking at this from a business perspective, right?
yeah,
So if I'm getting into it as a business, and I'm trying to find a way to keep this in the market, and we're like, well, we can just sell this stuff as is.
yeah. Yeah, and these
So
images, I mean, no offense, I'm sure he spent many hours on this, but these are like really, really basic, really simple. Like you could get this stuff off of like DeviantArt
I don't
or
know
Google image search.
officially what the
Run a couple.
HeroQuest fan base is like. I don't know what they consider their clientele's like demographic to be completely. I don't know if it's just people, um, what the certain age demographic or anything is. If we're trying to get people younger, I mean, I bet you they are. We've probably talked about it before. What I'm saying is like, um, if you get somebody even my age right now who wants to like stay around for HeroQuest or older, what keeps them from going, well, I already have access to this stuff for like, I paid somebody $5 the other day and got like more quest wise, and I could do like, and I can like probably download some stuff online if I wanted different characters, or hell, I
Yeah,
could just copy and paste like artwork from the web anywhere. I mean, hell, dude, I can go online right now and like, if
there's
you just have
hundreds.
some basic computer skills, like just
Yeah, there's hundreds and hundreds of quests out there. You could have years worth of content right now for free.
yeah, just
And this example you see before you is not the best that's out there. It's just one that people happen to be talking about.
so
So I
what
could see somebody who just bought HeroQuest and just happens to see this goes, "Oh, this is cool. Another free thing, or
what
not free
class of
thing, but
elf is
more
that?
content."
What we're looking
That's
at,
a
just
rogue.
the rogue. Okay, hold on.
Yeah. See, the rogue came in a box, an official box by himself. He's just a character, and you could insert him into any adventure that you want. They don't really give any direction on how to use him. But what this guy decided to do is, oh, I'll make adventures focused on him. So it's like, okay. I mean, he's not the only
You're
character,
gonna
obviously.
have to give me like 2 seconds, but yes, give me like 2 seconds because like you could do this, and like this isn't the best way to do it. In fact, probably not the way I'd recommend it. But just give me my voice cracked because I'm uber sick. So give me a second. Um,
Yeah, I'm
hmm.
definitely gonna get to that Bohemius. I started with UltraQuest because I mean even the title makes you think, oh man, this is gonna like blow me away. I mean, again, no offense to the guy that made this. I mean, I'm sure he did what he set out to do, but yeah, there's better examples. So okay, um, this is the next one. Sorry, am I going too fast here?
No, you're fine. I'm just doing something here because, like I said, you could do this nowadays with most people. Like, at least in my like realm, it's not super hard, but you can um see if this works. It might be totally stupid, but
You want me to shut off my screen here? So
no,
you're gonna show.
don't shut off your screen. I could probably pull it in here if I need to. Just need a minute. But like what I'm doing is like you could grab a photo off the web if you're really in need. You could do that and just crop like an elf, put it on your card, print it, right? Or
Yeah,
you could do something like Runway is free. You can use Runway AI for free for
yep,
like a certain amount of points or whatever, and do stuff like oops. Do stuff
It's
like
kind of
this.
painstaking. You can do lots of AI stuff.
If it's just for you're not selling it, of course, right? And like
Yep.
regenerate a bunch of images and just crop them, like for your use, right?
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and that's what I'm saying is like it's not. And like this is me being as simplistic as possible. Like, I mean, if you really want to, like I said, you can regenerate a lot of these so they can, if you use different formats or prompts, they don't come up with weird hands and stuff. This is letting the AI do a lot of the work,
Yeah.
right? So you
So
can
what you're
crop it
he
so
didn't
that,
have to Photoshop the existing one.
yeah, so you download it, crop just the face and stuff like that, and then you're good. But like, that's what I'm saying is like, we just talked about how, like, once again, we don't use, uh, like AI in our HeroQuest. But what I'm saying is like if you
No.
don't have the skill to draw and you don't know anybody and you're on a budget, like me, like for me, right? I don't have that budget. I spend money on cigars, computer parts, computer builds. Like I could, but I won't. I also got 4 kids. I'd have to give up something if I wanted to start, you know, hiring somebody
Yeah.
to do my artwork and building quests. But if I wanted to do like a beginner's quest of my own, and like start doing that, I'd probably use some references here. Or
Yeah.
asking people around the community, like, hey, could I get some references? I don't need all the cards run, but can I get some references so I'm not using AI for everything? I'm
Yeah.
not experienced at all. This would be
Yeah.
nice. You
Well,
can
and if you make
go
yeah,
ahead,
yeah,
man.
go ahead. Sorry. I'm just gonna keep jumping in on you. Sorry.
No, you're
Well, I mean,
fine.
if you're doing it,
Like I said, it's your thing. So
if you're doing it for your personal use, there's no limits. You want to make Chuck Norris quest starring Chuck Norris, do it. But once you try to sell it, that's when you got to change the name, and that's when you got to make sure you're not, trying to sell somebody else's IP without their permission. And yeah, I've said it before. Like, I'm not gonna pay Avalon Hill if they're gonna put AI on the cover. Like, I don't want that. And the reason is because I can do it myself for free.
yeah,
So if I'm gonna buy something, I want it to be something that is kind of like something that I can't do, if that makes sense. So I want, like, I could hire some artist to like make me a cover. I could take some more classes and like learn how to be a better painter because I'm a really, really basic painter, and create something like really good. But yeah, I want it. I don't have the skills or experience to do it. I don't have the money to do it. Okay, I've got to wait for a company to do it. And I get it. This fan stuff, this is the kind of stuff I defend. I say, yeah, if you're a fan and you have no art skills and you want to just like, yeah, grab some references offline, do some AI, go for it. But if you're going to sell it to me, that's a different story. Now I'm going to judge it as a consumer. I'm not going to just say, hey, that's a cool mod that you made, friend of mine. I'm going to say, oh, you're trying to sell me this. Well, I think there's better stuff out there, or I could do as well as you've done, and I don't want to pay for it. Sorry, you know. So here's example number 2. This is BountyQuest. This was shown to me. So this is thegamecrafter.com, and I've told these tend to be on the more expensive side. $34.99 for this, compatible with HeroQuest, and looking at the stuff because I want to see what it is. Like, okay, so there's the card. So it's text.
are you
Shrink
supposed
wrap
to be
text.
broadcast or sharing something, buddy? I only see your OBS stuff.
Oh, whoops. Oh, you're right. My bad. There we go. Okay, let me start that over. This is BountyQuest, the quicker picker upper. So this is definitely something I would not buy. And hey, if you want to buy it, or if you created this and you've got other stuff, I mean, more power to you. But $34.99 for this. This is again thegamecrafter.com, BountyQuest. So this is definitely AI generated. And when you look at it, it's let's see, a 52 card deck designed to increase the fun and the story for HeroQuest adventures, made up of 38 bounty cards, 8 artifacts, 5 potions, 1 monster card. Cards are nice, but cards are really easy to create, extremely easy to create these days. If you, and I always mention them, makeplayingcards.com and boardgamesmaker.com. Basically, you can have professional quality, like linen finish, like poker cards. It'll cost you like 50 cents per card. So, I mean, it can be done. And yes, you got to wait 11 days for them to deliver. I've done it like many times. And yes, they're going to give you a hard time if you basically just rip somebody else's work off. So you got to make sure that, you know, you don't put fake copyright notices and you don't steal somebody's IP, which is reasonable. I mean, but this guy's stuff, I mean, does this really look like $34.99 to you? I mean, this looks like extremely basics. Again, sorry, but I think a lot of people can do this here. I mean, it looks all right, but that's obviously AI. And this is the kind of thing, like these cards that he's got here. These are like the type of concepts that lots of people do. Like lots of people have their own potion decks. Lots of people have their own like mercenaries and artifacts. And a lot of them are just variations of stuff that already exists. I mean, the font, I don't like his choice of font. Notice this scroll here. That's artwork from the original game, from the 90s game. That spell scroll there. I mean, I could do this easily, and I'm not saying I'm a great artist. Yeah. So, and again, I'm told this stuff tends to be on the more expensive side. I get it. You know, you're not mass producing this stuff like Avalon Hill would be allowed to, you know, with the powerhouse of Hasbro behind them. So it's not going to be the same price, but still, it's just like, no. If you want me to buy this, you're going to have to do better. Now, the other thing is, what do all these cards do? Like, I can see some of these cards, but for the most part, I have no idea what these cards do. So you might have an awesome system, just like UltraQuest. Those quests might be really, really fun to play, but I have no idea because I can't play them. I have to buy a thing first to find out if it's good or not. So that's why I think you need like a demo video, you need a review, you need to have somebody like show it off, or you need to have like, you know, a PDF of something where you can download part of it for free, maybe just to get a sample so that you have an idea like, oh, this really is worth me doing this, buying this, rather than, oh, I could just make my own. Because this is physical. I mean, that's cool. So I don't know. Strange West, would you buy this? $34.99 for a deck of 52 cards?
Probably not. Who is this made by? This is done by
Okay. Let's see. Benno 505.
Oh, so this is third party?
Yeah, this is fan made.
Yeah, probably not. Like I said, you can make it on your own. I wouldn't be paying. Like I said, man, I'm already like I said, I've already done like I said, for people who don't have experience and they want to make their own quests, for people that you're doing quests for and like at the table, right? Or if you want to like you're wanting to do extra games or something like that, if you don't have somebody you want to hire or anything like that, legit, man, just make a couple emails, run through some AI prompts. Like I said, I don't know. That's what I would say. Or grab some I guess grab some images on the internet. But I'd say if you don't want to like catch attention, but there are references you can use. I would not be paying that much for that. Like I said, I understand supporting people or people who want to incorporate their work, because artists do really need that support. I don't support AI over artistic value at all. But when it comes to this is a very tricky situation because the HeroQuest community, to me, I don't have enough experience in that to really put my opinion in there, and I don't really want to insult certain people.
No,
because
it sounds like I'm being harsh.
Well, no, because you've had experience in this game for a long time. For me here, like I said before, for me here, it's something where I have a game up there and enough expansions I could run through a couple games with some people. We'd have a good time. Now, let's say I bought all the expansions. I've run through the game. I've had my fun. Now we're starting to get to the part to where, you know, maybe I'm looking for some extra quests and stuff. To me, $15, if I wanted to, and I didn't have much experience, me $15 is a lot better than like buying a whole new deck of cards for like $50. I feel like people are just using the inflation excuse for that. But I really wanted to. I'd say that's not super bad. But for other people here, if they're like, hey, I've got these extra just standalone quests, you don't want to write up your own quests, you aren't that great at doing that, but you like to play the game, $5 get you like, 3 or 4 like, I don't know, quests that last you, I don't know, an hour a piece or something like that.
That's basically it.
I mean, that's 5 hours of fun. They're replayable. I've put some time into them. $5. But like I said before, I don't know how to price people's hard work here. Like I said, this is something that could be like even this amount of work here could be taking somebody a lot of time. And like I said, I don't. This is UltraQuest. Is this this third party too?
Yeah. It's all third party. Yeah, so, and I want to make a comment about that, but go ahead, finish your thought.
But so none of this is done by the company itself. So as far as looking at this from a business perspective, I can throw that out the window. At first, I thought this was like being done from Avalon Hill or something like that, but like no. Like, so this is
Clark Mitchell jokes.
This is a third party charging you money for HeroQuest like DLC pretty much. So like for me, I don't. Hey Ribby, I don't particularly. I'd say pretty much purchase at your own risk. Because you don't know exactly what you're getting all the time. It can lead to some people maybe scamming you. And really at the end of the day, if you take a couple hours or maybe a couple days of research, and if you aren't really computer savvy, if you learn a little bit, I mean, really, you don't need to even buy premium programs. If you get like a couple emails, like I said, just get a couple of like crappy emails through either Gmail or whatever. Log into Runway AI because Runway AI gives you free credits. Just do that. Type in some stuff. It takes like 15 credits a piece to run in some like AI models. Like I said, right here, I've got already 2 sets, and I was about to generate another one, but this is 2 sets, and some of them look weird. Regenerate them if they look weird enough, but like they're doing okay. Don't pay for the AI program because that's shiesty in itself. Crop what you can. Like Canva is a program that's like what, $12 a month? I think probably a little bit more now, but like you can use Canva if you want for like a one-time usage of $10, $12, and like you can use their auto background like feature that will, if you don't have like Photoshop experience, you can just do that and it will crop out the back, so you can like put it on the card, or just crop what you have here using like Paint or something and put it on your cards. And then like, like you've learned a new skill. That's what I'm saying is like, to me, that saves whatever money these people are charging you. And once again, doesn't mean don't support the community, because if the community makes this stuff and they do want their donation, I completely understand that. It's when they sell stuff that looks like that, like it's like a legitimate business, but they're using they're obviously using HeroQuest property, but they're renaming it. To me, I kind of like tilt my head a little bit,
It's legal, but is it the best idea?
Yeah, there's some people who are like, hey, look, I'm making these quests. I would really like it if you like $5 on Patreon, if you want like extra stuff added to this, or if you want your cards different. I've got artwork that I work on, and if you donate, you get the artwork with this, or you get some extra quests with this. Like, that would be really cool. But if the person just wants you to pay for it, and they're like $5-10 for some quests and some artwork, I don't mind that. That's understandable. At the end of the day, though, legally, like when it comes to HeroQuest itself, I don't really know, like, because it is really a line that's kind of drawn when people charge money for like the HeroQuest property, even though they're renaming it, right? I'd say that's kind of up to the company, really, because like,
some of the stuff they could shut down if they wanted to. I mean,
I've always supported
we just went through that whole OGL thing. That is Witches of the Coast, but it's still under Hasbro. And the whole deal was, for years, people could make spin-offs of D&D and sell them. And then the company was basically hinting that they were going to pull that rug out from under people, and it caused a big scandal. Now, HeroQuest, like I said, is kind of a mixed history. For years and decades, people just put the stuff out for free. But back in the 90s, you did have fans who would sell, fanzines, so magazines for fans that had HeroQuest content in them. Was that legal? Who knows? But that stuff is out there. People have even scanned those and preserved them. So you've got quests from the 90s that people were selling on newsstands that are still out there. So this is just sort of the digital version of it.
Right.
I
So
wanted to
yeah,
say though, if you want HeroQuest content, let me let you in on a little secret. It's not really a secret, but if you want HeroQuest content, you don't have to be a big streamer like me. Like I'm not that big. But check this out. I mean, this is the legend.
yes,
Uh,
good old Grognak, the legend.
yep, nothing to do with Bethesda. But
You
I
could
did
just
not
spell
make
it differently, you know. You don't have to spell it exactly.
yeah.
That could be different.
Fans created this. Okay.
Yeah, and that's
Other
good
people
artwork,
created this.
bro. Here, I'll put
And
that up.
I didn't buy this. I mean, these are my card sleeves, but I mean, yeah. Bohemius, thank you. You gave me a PDF, and I went to my local print shop and I printed this out. So okay, yeah, I spent like maybe $1 printing it out, and I cut it out with scissors, and I've got a character. But yeah, I didn't have to spend $15 on a PDF for this. So if you know people in the community, I mean, they'll give you stuff. And yeah, I did provide feedback on the characters. So Jacer and um, Fuzzy, sorry about that. Noru 90. So I mean, but like clearly this is AI. Like I'm not saying it's wrong to use AI for stuff. You can tweak it and it can look pretty good. But yeah, people are afraid. People are afraid like, oh man, I can't do this. I don't have the talent. I don't have the skills. I don't have a big expensive computer. It's like you don't need that. You can like Strange Boss was saying, you can create the stuff yourself. You can teach yourself very quickly how to do it without a ton of effort. It only has to be fun for you. Like it doesn't have to like please the masses. But once you start selling it, then you kind of have to have more mass appeal. Like if I like Eric Lefebvre and I just want to give him money, like sure. It's like if he's my friend, I'll be like, sure, here you go. Here you go, buddy. Good job. But since I don't know him and I don't know what his content is, it's like, okay, well, you're gonna have to maybe give me something a little better than just this. I mean, I bought these dice. Did I have to buy these dice? No. Did Avalon Hill see $1 for this? Nope. And these are just knockoffs. Like, could they shut this whole project down? I mean, I guess maybe, because I mean the design is the same. Like here's the official one right here, and here's the knockoff. Sorry, Doug. It's pretty close. You know what I mean? Like you can tell one's real and one isn't, but there's going to be people out there that just buy HeroQuest and maybe the first thing they do is go on Etsy and they see all this stuff and it's like, oh yeah, I got to buy all this stuff because I want to have it all. And it's like you can't because there's so much of it. Let me show you some other stuff, but I do want to say this. I think the secret is yes, get into the community, go on HeroQuest Discord, HeroQuest fans Discord, go into the Facebook groups, go into Reddit, go into Board Game Geek, and you'll find fans who will just give you stuff for free. Like they'll give you access to stuff for free. Just ask, just be like just a nice, humble person. Ask questions. Like Ribby made these for me. Like I didn't pay him. I mean, I feel like I should be paying him because they're so awesome. But
Kurgan, you
like,
have a response here, real quick,
oh yeah, yeah, nice.
if you want to read.
See, I have two
Oh,
windows open. Oh yeah, thanks. Bohemia says, okay, Kurgan, this product doesn't meet with yours expectation for standards. Some people just care to have 10 extra quests. They don't have to invent and design themselves. I agree. But I guess what I'm trying to say is it's more about like this isn't the only guy in town. Like the UltraQuest guy is not the only person. So if he wants people to buy his stuff, he has to be competitive with the other people that are putting stuff out. And if I don't know what's in his quests, I'm going to judge on things like screenshots and price and that sort of thing. That's kind of how I'm approaching it. So again, when I started off, I said like I don't own his quests. Like if I owned his quest, I could have play tested it, and I could tell you like exactly how good it is. Like, oh yeah, this is amazing, this is awesome, this was totally worth it, or no, it wasn't. So I'm
I'm
just looking
also
at it on the
gonna
outside.
I'm also
Yeah.
going to restate for Joe here. I do not support selling your AI drawing. Once again, I will restate that because I'm pretty sure I said that before, but this is for if you are, let's say, I want to get you guys together for like maybe I'm doing something tabletop, right?
Mhm.
I don't have anybody to hire for artwork. Like, and I, like I said, I haven't asked anybody, right? Let's say I did, and either somebody's too busy or they want a price that I can't afford at the moment, right? I don't have time to draw that stuff, nor am I good at it, right? I mean, I probably would
Yeah.
draw it anyway, but
Yeah. Rather than just
I
having
don't I
text.
don't have experienced AI prompt knowledge. Um, no, okay, then yes, but I just for the podcast here, right? Um, once again, I do not. This is for your own personal use. I do recommend that you could play it with others, or let's say if you are distributing it to people for free and you said, hey, look, I made this myself using AI because I have no skill sets and I had no like high knowledge, it's free, right?
Yeah.
Um, if if you want to change it, you can because I don't own the properties, the artwork.
Yeah.
Um, but
I feel
like
yeah, I
mostly
got
just for your purpose and you're making extra quests to like, spice up your HeroQuest adventure, then yeah. Yeah. So um that's exactly where I'm coming from. Because like I said, for people who don't have like I said, there's not a lot of people who have those connections. That like aren't in the streaming space or something like that. There's some people that do, but like I said, most people in my generation or below are usually somewhat computer savvy. They have they have that knowledge, um, and you can use some like AI skill for free and produce some things for cards. Granted, you're not going to be able to do everything.
people will
You're most
teach you.
likely going to need to make your own artwork. But let's say you just
Yeah.
wanted to like ramp up your hero cards, then yeah, I would say that it's a good like quick change compared to like somebody who's charging right now $50 or $20 and you just don't have it and you want to make your
Yeah.
own. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, that's
Well, Bohemius, and I'm not trying to out you here, but you're a great person to have in this very conversation because my understanding is you have some background with this. Like, there's people out there that work on commission. Somebody's like, hey, I've got a bunch of miniatures. I know you know how to paint. I'll pay you whatever amount that you agree upon to like help me out, finish this project or do this for me. Or maybe like Ribby is another guy. He's got a 3D printer. You know, Someone's like, hey, Ribby, can you print some stuff for me? It's like, sure. You know, or there's lots of people out there that work on commission, and yeah, you just kind of have to price it out. Like if you want somebody who has skills, like you're like, okay, well, can you show me some samples of your work? Okay, all right, this is what you want, and they'll say, okay, well, this is a fair price, and maybe you decide, no, that's beyond what I want to pay. So okay, no problem, you move on, look for somebody else. I mean, it's an open market, right? I think me personally, like I'm not someone who works on commission, so I can't speak to how that experience like plays out. Um, but I think most people that do it probably do it as a side hustle. It's not your main job. So it's something you kind of do in your spare time, like a side gig. Like maybe you make a little extra on the side, and that's great. Um, I feel like there's such a world of difference, like we were talking about, between like creating stuff that's just for your own group versus something for the world. So if you're working on commission, you're painting or creating something for that particular client. But if you're making it for the entire world, okay, you're going to have like broad appeal. You're going to have competitive prices, like all this kind of stuff. Um, yeah, there's so much that just goes into like thinking about it. But yeah, I feel like the AI is a tool for people who don't have the skills. So it's like the poor man's like artwork. And so that's why I think, yeah, it's definitely more for people who just want to make it for their own use versus selling it. Once you try to sell it, it's like, yeah, it looks kind of cheesy, kind of cheap. And maybe your quest is awesome, but I'm distracted by your crappy looking art. And so maybe I'm just going to like move on and I'm going to totally miss what might be like an amazing expansion that you've created. Unless again, you give me a sample or something and it's like, oh man, this guy's such a great writer. He's just not a very good artist. And maybe that'll attract somebody to say, yeah, the thing that you're missing is a good artist. I volunteer to help, or I'll take this cut of the project or whatever. I mean, there's a whole, I guess, ecosystem that comes out of it. But my take is just become part of the community, and people will connect you with stuff. They'll say, "Oh yeah, here's some free resources you can use," or "Here, I'll show you some pointers on how to do this," or "Here's a website that offers a discount," or there's just all kinds of stuff. You don't have to go on Etsy and just like go, "Okay, well, I guess this is my one stop. You know, this guy's going to do it all for me," and that's it.
Oh yeah,
The
there are
one
tons of
silver
other
lining,
options too than Etsy.
yeah, the silver lining that comes out of all this, and I tried to do this because I felt like I was being super negative when I was talking about this on HeroQuest fans Discord, is I was saying, well, maybe you should buy this. Maybe you should give this guy your $15 and download his PDF. Because what it will do is it will show you what's possible, and maybe you'll start to kind of like look below the layers and go, yeah, I could do something like this. You know, I could modify this guy's work, or maybe I don't like the way he did this thing, but I could do something like that. And it could be the launching off point for you to become a HeroQuest creator, you know, not necessarily saying, well, I'm going to sell my thing to compete with, you know, UltraQuest and it's going to be $14 to be competitive. But I mean, it might inspire you, right? And I get it though. You're like, okay, it's game night. We've played all the quests. I just need to print something off real quick and just throw it on the table. Okay, sure, it could serve that purpose. But guess what? There's like hundreds of free quests out there. Just look up something called HeroQuest Adventures, and there's like pages and pages of free quests. And some of them are like really highly regarded by the community, like good quality stuff. I mean, granted, it doesn't have brand new artwork. Like if you look at cards that people made from the 90s, like they're cutouts from like other fantasy books from the time, or they just like, you know, recolored the orc from the original book. I mean, it's really cheap looking. So at least with AI, it kind of looks like something brand new, but at the same time, yeah, you can tell that it's just, you know, dashed off. Some of the other comments here. Let's see. Joe Kojer says, I can see using AI for your own personal use, but not if you're trying to sell a finished product, design your own art, or hire an artist. I agree. And that's why Avalon Hill faced so much pushback from the Clark Mitchell cover for First Light. Even though they didn't 100% admit it was AI, it looked cheap enough that, yeah, people rejected it. They realized their consumers have a higher threshold of quality. And so they had to spend more money and delay the project somewhat to give us, you know, what we wanted. When you're a fan like this, or an indie creator, I guess you have less accountability because you're just a guy, and it's not like, you know, I'm gonna boycott Hasbro because you did something, because you're just making a spin-off thing. But at the same time, like if I see your project and I see somebody else's project right next to it, and that other guy has put more effort into his stuff, and maybe it's worth the price, or maybe he has a more competitive price, I'm gonna go with that. So just, I think just out of self-interest, you would want to put your best work out there. Like maybe my friends play the quest that I play at the dinner table, and they go, "Yeah, you should put this online. You should sell this. Like people will buy it." Well, thanks guys, but I don't know if that's always going to be the case. Yeah, the problem is I don't always have time to try and make my own stuff. Agreed. I understand your stance. Just stating my
Hey
feelings.
Ruby,
Yeah,
I made my own logos for Strange Bus and stuff. So
yeah,
if you need something for bourbon and board games one day, I can actually do
yeah.
that.
Maybe.
I can do like logos and stuff. That I can do.
Hey, see, Ribby, you're see, that's the other thing. You attract attention with these things. So maybe you put something out there and it sucks, or maybe you put something out there and it was the best you could do, but you wish you could do more. You attract attention. Other people can come and help. I'm not doing that as a dig at you, Ruby. I'm just saying. People want to be noticed too, and I like bourbon board games. It's cool. But yeah, I mean, I've used the Grognak character on my YouTube, and I always put a disclaimer saying it's created with AI. Some of those thumbnails for some of those videos were AI, and I put a disclaimer on there. So yeah, I'm not trying to fool anybody, and I'm not charging for my stuff. But it's like if you subscribe to the channel, so you're paying me money, so you've got AI. Well, not. I mean, you didn't watch the stream for the thumbnail. The thumbnail's like put on YouTube later. So, but you get what I'm saying. Put it up and use it with my disclaimer. Channels unmonetized entirely as a hobby. If I ever go monetize, replace with the real artist artwork. I agree. I agree with that. So again, these projects could inspire you to do your own thing. So I'm not knocking a person's ability to, try to make a living. Another thing I want to say is my take on the whole, like, how much is your time worth? That is a huge rabbit hole because I feel like as a
Definitely
consumer,
is a huge rabbit hole.
you could
It's a
say
loaded
anything.
question too. Yeah.
Like, man, I'm a
Because I
high
feel
powered
like
CEO.
I feel like it's an insult too. Like at times, like
It can
you,
be. It can be. I'm a high powered CEO. I'm in meetings all day, and then I'm on the golf course. I don't have any time to like do so. Just I'll have one of my servants like throw $1 million out there and just send me the whatever. Like, okay, there's that. And then from the creator standpoint, you can also go down the rabbit hole and say, listen, like my kids were keeping me up. They were, crying and they were sick and I had to like clean my house and my landlord was like complaining and my refrigerator broke and it's like I'm trying to complete this quest for you and all this stress and man my computer like crashed and it's like maybe it takes you 8 hours to do something. Who's to say that like that's so it's like you're creating a price based on your time. It's like what is your time worth? It's so wide open to me. So I feel like the only objective way you can look at that is what are other people offering in the market? And maybe that's, I'm not an economist, maybe that's not the 100% way to do it, but it's like if person A is selling, 10 quests for $15, person B is selling 10 quests for $50, it's like, okay, well, what's the difference? Is the $50 guy going to be giving me that much higher quality? Or am I going to say it's pretty much the same, so I'm going to go with the $15 guy? Like, that's kind of what I'm gonna do. It's like, oh, he printed it out. Okay, so $1 a page. Okay, does that really? No, it doesn't really work. So yeah, or oh, well, I know I'm gonna print out like 100 copies to give to my friends, so maybe the $15 is worth it. Like, you have to just kind of figure that out for yourself. But there isn't just a set formula of, oh, yes, Avalon Hill sells their expansions for $45, so therefore a fan should sell it for $30. Like there isn't an easy formula for that. So I'm not saying like, well, this guy's wrong because he's charging 15 and he should be charging 10 or he should be charging 16, or whatever. But I mean, he could charge, $1,000 if he wanted to, and no one's going to buy it. So he'll lower it to 500 and then he'll lower it to 110, 5, 1. Okay, now people buy it. Okay, you found the sweet spot, whatever it was. Bohemia says, even AI is a tricky thing to use. When we did the legend, for example, where you create hundreds of images, I had to personally pick the one I liked the most or more appropriated for what I wanted to conceptualize, end up choosing just a few of those images. Yeah, it is. I remember Shadiversary on his channel. He got dunked on by a lot of people because he was basically trying to explain that just because you're using AI for prompts, it doesn't mean that there's no human involvement. Like you're still making decisions and it still can take a long time because it's not just like you just type a sentence and you've got the perfect thing. It's like you have to tweak it and all this stuff. So it's not zero work. It is work, but the question is like I can do that myself. Like to be a painter, I have to learn how to paint. But to use AI, I don't have to learn anything. I just have to type prompts until I get what I want. Because that's what it is. That's the nature of it. It's designed specifically for that. So I think that's why. And there's a larger issue here, which is we feel like these companies. So a company like Hasbro has the resources to hire the best artists in the world if they want to. They don't have to rely on a free AI, chat GPT type thing, right? Whereas you and I, maybe we don't have that kind of cash and time and resources. We don't have a team of people working for us that can just like find the best stuff. We don't have Doug Hopkins getting on there and hiring Nikki Dawes to do like a very specific like set of sketches and or paintings to put on our cards. Fair enough. So AI is a nice little tool that we can use in the meantime, and maybe you could just use it to create a concept. I mean, Avalon Hill is very specific about that, and Hasbro is officially. They say, well, we use AI in our conceptual stages, but when we do the actual product that we sell, that's human created. And it's like, okay, well, I hope I believe you, but that's what we decided for the commercial sphere. And once these fans get into it too, I feel like they're held to the same standard, like it or not. Even though they're not a $1 billion corporation, you're asking me to pay for this. So it's like, okay, why? Oh, well, because I had to pay. There's Strange Bus, correct me if I'm wrong. There's AI programs out there that you can pay for, right? There's like
I
premium.
mean, most of them you have to pay for them. They just give you a trial. That's what I was recommending. Like,
Right.
because the one I use, like the yearly pay for it's like $200-300 a year. It's crazy.
Okay, so let's say I pay for the $300 and I'm making my quests, and it's like, okay, well, I want to get some of that money back. So I'm going to increase the price of my AI generated quest to sell people so that I can get my subscription money back. Like, what's wrong with that? Like, that's what someone could say, right? Whereas I
Yeah.
would just be like, well, I can pay you. Let's say I'll pay you, Strange Bus, to AI this for me, and you're going to pay for the subscription. Or I could just take that money and I could subscribe myself and just use it, right? So it's like, why the middleman? It's like, well, I can type prompts better than you can. I have more
Yeah.
experience with it. Well, yeah, I pay for Chat GPT, says Ribby. I use it constantly. Yeah.
Remember if I have the HeroQuest file. I'm almost done. I'm going to show you guys something here. It didn't take very long to do this, but
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've got a little bit more, but we're getting close to the end here because I know you got some burning topics too.
yeah, but I don't think I have the HeroQuest
And we,
font anymore. Do you still have the HeroQuest font?
yeah, I do. You need it?
Well, I might. Well, my Streamlabs picks it up still, so it's got to be somewhere in here. Let's see.
I've got a few of them.
Yeah, could you send it to me? Just the one they use for cards, if you got it.
Yeah, there. Check your Discord message there. There's actually a couple other. Yeah, the one that's yeah, the HeroQuest.ttf. That's the main one.
Okay.
Yeah. So while you're doing that, do you mind if I show off a couple more examples?
Oh no, yeah,
here?
go ahead here. Let me bring it back up. Sorry, I'm like doing like a bagillion things at once.
Yeah, and I feel like we should definitely take a break when we're done here because you need to rest your voice there or get a beverage or something.
Oh, it's not gonna go away. Sorry, I will have a drink. I'm doing this so I can try to like focus on like what's like what I'm doing and also edit out the stream. But yeah, my voice is just screwed.
Okay, so this is called ExtraQuest. It's $49.36. It's almost $50. And this is another person on Etsy selling it. This is Big Balloons NL. And this screams AI to me. And I mean, this almost kind of reminds me of The Legend a little bit. I think the art looks great. I mean, it's a kind of a World of Warcraft style Revenge of the Mountain Orcs. Sounds great. You got Orc Warrior skills, Orc Wizard spell, spelled with 2 Z's, Orc Curse spell. You got some wood. I don't know if those tiles look that great, but I mean, this attracts my attention. So this guy's got a nice presentation. These cards, okay, Orc Shadow, Fire Blast. I can't quite see what they all do, but okay, so he's got 10 artifact cards. Again, 52 cards, pretty common. 6 equipment cards, 7 monster cards, 4 Orc Curse spells, 9 Orc Wizard or Warrior skill, 12 Orc Wizard spell, 4 treasure. Okay, all right, so it's a cardboard expansion basically. He's got pictures of the cards, so it's like the European style here, which is kind of cool. I know that if these are scaled accurately to the European game, that's kind of hard because like if you go to make playing cards, they have like US sized cards, but they don't have like the European sized cards unless you print like 10,000 of them. Like if you print them in bulk, it'll cost you a lot, but it'll be worth your while. So like those websites are meant for like prototyping. So like I printed like my own stuff. Like I print a set of cards for myself, at my table. But if I were trying to create a product, like I was going to create my own game and sell it, like and I wanted to print like 10,000 copies, yeah, I'd be spending a lot of money. Or they let you open up a shop where people can sign in and do basically print on demand and you get a cut. So I'm thinking that's what these guys are doing. I mean, unless they've got some expensive printers at home, or maybe they're going to their local print shop, they're sending this away to some website that's doing it for them. Now, I've seen what somebody like Ribby can do with his handmade cards, and they turn out pretty nice. But this is all you see of the particular quest. You can see this is done in the European style, so it's like monochrome. It's not full color. Reclaiming the Orc's Bane. So, he's written a little story there about it. But I mean, are these quests any good? Who knows? Are they comparable in quality to the official quests? I guess you can kind of see a little bit of it. I mean, they don't look super complex, but let's see. These he's got tiles. They look pretty AI generated, but I mean, they look okay. They look all right. So this to me is much more effort than BountyQuest or UltraQuest. At least it looks more original, even though it clearly looks pretty AI generated. He has a little video. I like that. See, this is how you sell your stuff. So he's flipping through the booklet. So you get a sense. Those quests, those are long quests because they're filled. Those rooms are filled with monsters, even though it's the European rules. Wait a second. Oh, so he's showing. There's only a few quests in that book. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Oh, 5. Yeah, so it's a shorter adventure. The cards look all right. And again, he's going for a very specific aesthetic. He's going for the way the European game looked in the 90s. Whereas the UltraQuest guy was trying to imitate like the modern HeroQuest. So if this is the aesthetic you like, maybe you would enjoy this. So I think this is a lot more effort on this guy's part. I don't know if it's worth $50 though. Because, okay, he's giving you cards, he's giving you tiles, there's no miniatures. There's a booklet of quests, like 5 quests. This to me would be like, if this were an expansion that Avalon Hill released, it'd be like $20. Maybe less. Maybe, well, because I'm thinking 20. Return of the Witch Lord, Keller's Keep, those were 25 when they first came out, and they had like 10 miniatures in the box. So again, it's a small time person doing this. But yeah, I don't know if it's really worth this amount. So it's cool that something like this exists, but I think that's probably more than I would pay for something like that. Now, the next one I want to show is AxianQuest. A lot of people know who this guy is. He's in our community, so I'm not gonna say he's awesome just because he's in our community. But I've looked at some of his stuff. Amalgamash has reviewed some of his stuff on AxianQuest channel. What I like about AxianQuest is not necessarily the art, because you can see there's some pictures, but a lot of it is just text or just symbols, and that's fine, because what he's doing is he's giving you just more of what you already have, some more armory cards, more or equipment cards, more artifacts and stuff like that, or weapons. Like, you don't need the art necessarily. You can just have text. Of course, then you're thinking to yourself, well, why don't I just write it on a piece of paper? Why do I need somebody to like print a card? Well, lots of people have done this, but what Axian has done is he created something called Infinite Dungeon. And lots of people have done or tried to do something similar, where they give you a way to play the HeroQuest game without Zargon, which I realize, like, for someone like me who loves playing as Zargon, like, I feel like you're playing the game wrong. It's like playing one-player chess. It's like, what? What are you talking about? But there are people out there that want to do that, and I think it's interesting and ingenious to see how people have come up with systems. We're looking at Amalgamash's hands here, so check him out on AxianQuest. People come up with various systems and ways to try to play HeroQuest without Zargon. And what this is, the basic idea behind Infinite Quest, as I understand it, is that he gives you these decks of cards. Axian does. He gives you these decks of cards that you buy, and you place a card on each of the rooms on the HeroQuest board. And so as your heroes like walk from room to room, you flip the card over, and that gives you a special effect to like lay out the room or say what's in the room. And it's like, so it's not going to be the exact same experience as playing the game normally, because normally you have a storyline, you have, point A to point B, and you have specific stipulations. You maybe don't use all the rooms. But with this system, you could theoretically come up with a new adventure every time with like random stuff. And so if you just want to keep people guessing, and you don't want to have a Zargon, you could do that. So that's the basic idea. I'm missing some of the nuances of it, but I think that's a really cool idea. So in that case, I'm supporting his idea more than just that artwork. Because I mean, the artwork looks fine. It looks serviceable from what I'm seeing here. But you look at these cards, like, that's extremely basic. Like, anybody could do that. No offense. Anybody could do that. But, he created a little thing. And I'm sure it took him a long time to come up with all the different various ideas for every single card. I mean, other people have come up with random dungeon generator type systems. But yeah, here's an example. This is, again, from AxianQuest. Check it out on YouTube. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. So let's see how much he's charging for it. So this is Axian's page. It's axianspice.blogspot.com/p/HeroQuest.html. So you can see his real name on there. Seems like a cool guy, and a lot of people talk about his stuff. But where's the shop? Okay, my games. So if I want to buy this, let's see how easy he makes it. Okay, so $11.95 for the furniture deck. Oh, that's just the furniture deck. Weapons deck, same. So it's like $12 for a deck of cards. It's a little steep. Where's the Infinite Dungeon? Oh, the bundle, $62.78. I don't know. Okay, let's see. If you wanted to buy everything, what would it cost you? Oh, and he's doing it in multiple languages. So these are in Italian. Oh, if you bought these separately, be $103.10. See, I don't think cards are that expensive to make. I mean, no offense. Of course, I don't know how many copies he's making, and he's not on here to explain. So forgive me if I mischaracterize what you're doing here, but I don't know how much it costs where you are. in Italy to print these cards. But I would say like 50 cents per card is a good rule of thumb, like for a good quality card. And that's, you can take any image that you grabbed off the web or that you created yourself, to put it out there, like on a site like makeplayingcards.com. But if I go back on his website, free. So again, I'm just trying to look at this as a consumer. I'm not looking at it as, like your friend or your fellow player. It's just, what would I think of this? Okay. He has some free stuff. Okay, he's not giving away any of these for free. He gives away the rules. Okay, well, that's cool. So you can read the rules that he uses. Rules for searching furniture. Oh, this is different. Okay, well, anyway. The last one I wanted to look at, well, actually, there's two, sorry. Heroic Adventurers on Etsy. This is Lesto Dante. So people maybe remember him from Yield In. Longtime guy from Yield In. He does a lot of these cards, and I think he actually pays an artist or multiple artists to like create these. So like he does, he's a client who hires like a commissioned artist to create them. So they're like good quality, and they're expensive. And so it's just like, okay, well, you're paying for that extra level of quality. And
Okay. Hey,
what's
Kurgan, real quick.
yeah,
Okay,
man.
I just want to show you something. So in the time you've
Okay.
done this is what I've done. Probably horrible job, but check it out.
Strangest Bus. Oh man. I'd buy that for $1. Promo code Strangest Bus.
Yep.
Okay. So none rather be naked. Okay, so you got the humor. He looks pretty badass. He's got the big weapon, a dark blade. He's got some stats. And you did this with Canva?
Yeah, so this was Canva. Canva did the background remover. What I did was I had to manually edit. So you could probably blend this, but I had to manually remove part of the background because before it was like there was still some foliage in there, and I was gonna keep that, but it made the card look a little crappier because you can see he's still kind of like pointing through the card a little bit. I had to cut out part of the sword, had to draw the sword myself. The rest of this guy is AI.
All right. So how long did this take?
I put in from the time we were talking, from the time I finished talking to the time I just interrupted you now. I grabbed card references, so pretty much just did this.
Swole, big Papa Pump. I love these comments. It's been lifting.
And then
10 body.
That's what I did. So, like I said, Canva kind of has like an auto background remover. So, like for example, if you wanted to upload a file, like
so you can just grab images from the web.
If I wanted to do something, or if I wanted to grab the images I generated, I wanted to do my wizard. Do that.
Oh,
Don't know if Canva's going to do this very well. I might have to do some editing myself, but just do the background remover.
I kind of like the style too.
It could not remove the background on this one. There's too much going on. So you'd have to do this one manually. Or, example, let's try the dwarf maybe.
And how much did you pay for Canva?
Canva's $15 now. They raised the price on it.
Okay.
But you could pay it once, use it until you're done with it, and not pay anymore. You have to do the.
So you could buy UltraQuest, or you could buy this. Interesting. See, this gives you so much more freedom.
It's having trouble with the hand drawing stuff, but like it did it with this one just fine. So what you'd do is you'd have to remove it manually, like you would in Photoshop. But like,
impressive.
I'm having trouble with a lot of the.
So don't be scared if you wanna start doing this. I'm not saying like I'll only respect you if you create your own content. Like you can't buy other people's content. No, you spend your money on what you want. But what we're showing you here is it is possible. Like, are you a professionally trained artist? Do you have a master's degree in fine arts or graphic design?
I do not. No.
Okay. Okay. Just checking.
But like I had some basic skills and like, I have used Photoshop before, but like if you know how to crop
Sure.
stuff and everything, you should be
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Use a couple paint programs. Yeah. How long would you say you've used Canva?
Since I started streaming, a couple years, but it's not that hard to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. And really though, one thing I've learned too when creating your own cards is that like I've looked at Odin and stuff, and like at first I was like, oh man, I can never do as well as he did. But then I saw like, oh, he just erased the background. Like he's using a similar technique, so it's like that kind of gave me confidence to say, hey, I can do this too.
It's usually
You
how I
know,
make my like thumbnails and
It-
stuff. So
when it's zoomed in and you're looking at it really close, it kind of looks crappy. But when you print it out the size that it would actually be for a card on the table, and it's in a sleeve, it looks fine.
oh,
It's similar to the
it's gonna look crap
when
because
you're
I drew the sword. Like I draw the sword with the marker. Oh,
you drew- yeah. Well, the thing is, like when you're painting stuff, when you're painting
like
miniatures, we know this. When you paint it and you're looking at it, you're like, oh man, I screwed up. Like you can see where the
I
layer,
had to draw
went the
from
wrong
here.
direction. But when you set it on the table and you're actually playing the game with your miniature, it looks great. It looks awesome.
Yeah,
And
like
when
I
your
had to.
friends show up, they're not going to look at it under a microscope. They're just going to go, hey, that looks great.
But like if you don't
You know.
know how to do like the square tool or anything, that's what I did was I just manually drew it upward. I had to redraw it a couple times, but like I said, it's not perfect, doesn't look great. But
But yeah, if you just handed me that card at the table, like I wouldn't throw it down and stomp on it. I'd be like, okay, cool, you know. And if you had a set of them that were all kind of in that same style, it's like sure,
and you can find blank I'm pretty sure everybody knows this, but you can find blank cards at um just on Google.
yeah, yeah. Templates are all over the place, and physical. You can buy physical cards that are that are blank, that are cut to the exact dimensions and everything. And you can even do what I did. Like when I did my cards, I was just showing you with those legend cards. Like I just printed something out on a printer and I cut it with the scissors. But when you put it inside a sleeve, it looks like a card, And if you want it to have more of a thickness, you can just like cut up an index card and shove that in there. Gives it that thickness. When you're shuffling your deck of cards, it works. So it's like I do that, and then when I've got the design that I like and it, play tested it and it works pretty well, then I send it to make playing cards or whatever and have it printed out, with that nice linen finish or whatever.
Right.
So, and then there's always at least one card in the deck where I'm like, oh dang it, I, misspelled this word, or I put too many spaces right here, and like it bothers me, but like nobody notices when you're actually playing. But I still like do it all again, so it's perfect in my mind.
Oh, I didn't mean to cough. Oops, I thought I hit the mute button. Sorry, guys.
Right. I want to address, so a lot of good comments here. I want to address these comments. So,
10 body points. You're right, Ribby. He does have 10 body points because he drinks every day. He does not leave without ale in his hand. He's drunk
yep,
all the time, so his mind is weak, but his body is strong.
that's right. Yep. If we want, Bohemia says, if we want to draw a parallel with video games, sometimes the graphics and the art is amazing, but the content and mechanics are horrible. Yeah. But the thing is, like, that is what draws us to HeroQuest. Because when you think about it, at the bottom line is HeroQuest is an idea. So you could just make something up in your head and you wouldn't even have to write it down. You could just say it, and that's the quest. But because we like the tactile stuff, we like to have physical cards, we like to roll dice and move plastic miniatures around on the table. Then that aspect of the game is what attracts you. So when you see it on the shelf, you're like, oh, let me flip this box over and look at what the miniatures look like. And then just imagine what those look like on my table. Okay, that attracts me. Even though I could buy like any miniature and use it. The cards can just be text. But yes, I see some really cool artwork on it. Oh, there's this awesome barbarian with a big ass sword. This looks great. Okay, that attracts me to buying that particular product. So that art is very important. Yeah, and if I'm looking at it and I'm just like, oh, somebody just Clark Mitchell this, like that's not worth very much to me. I'm not going to pay very much for that, if anything. So yeah. But yeah, lots of games out there have great graphics. So yeah, you just look at the screenshots and you're like, this is amazing. You assume the gameplay is going to match, and it doesn't, and it pisses you off.
Right.
Totally. And you could buy, let's say you buy UltraQuest or you buy BountyQuest or ExtraQuest, and the quest sucks. It's not fun at all. It's broken. You can still modify it. But I get it. You want it to be play tested. You want it to be decent. So it's like the whole package has to be of a certain level of quality. Like you're not expecting it to just be like no effort. But the art is what attracts you. So the art is very important.
Oh, hey, Kurgan, we have a
Yeah.
message.
Ooh.
I just got sent a message. It's from James Rolfe himself. I have to play this. Sorry.
And what does he say? Oh no. AI, man. Gonna kill us all. Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen to you.
That's Luma, but like both of those can do text to video and or like generate video from image. Luma is more of the fever dream version, and that's exactly what it does. If you don't know how to prompt,
Yeah.
it does stuff like that.
It just does weird stuff. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yes.
It's like Lord of the Rings. It's like, I may not be able to carry it, Mr. Frodo, but I could carry you. And he's like, ha, psych, like I'm gonna carry you, and he throws him down. His body flops all over the place.
Although, but you'll get really good stuff too sometimes. Like I think
Lord
I
of the Rings,
showed
he's
you
throwing
where they'll do
ink up in the
like
air.
no, they're doing like video game overlay, or like it's like
Oh
playing
yeah,
GTA 4, but it has to do it every
that
7 seconds, so like it switches over, but it looks really good.
yeah, you're
Like
watching someone play GTA, but it looks like a movie, like a live action movie.
yeah, it's real good.
Every few seconds, it turns into a different movie, but so it's like the gun in your hand is a different gun. The guy walking by is a different guy, but it's still yeah, it's really weird, but cool
Very
also.
weird.
Yeah, I gotta address some of these comments. So yeah, Joe Koger says I'd rather pay a real person for that cost. I agree with you. So in this selection that I've shown, this brief selection, you'd be going for heroic adventurers. So Lesto Dante, because he hires a real artist to create that stuff, as opposed to UltraQuest, where he's clearly just AI in it, or ExtraQuest, or even BountyQuest. Let's see. It's pretty invaluable for coding, especially like a language you're not familiar with really pops out some code quick. No way I'd pay $50 for a third-party quest. Yeah, yeah, I
So
agree.
yeah, so from what we're getting in chat, it looks like we've got some people kind of on both sides here.
Yeah, yeah,
I I'm
yeah. I could
just
go through these a little quicker. Sorry, I'm just
no, you're fine. I'm just putting my input here. I want to speak, but then again, my voice is killing me. Um, which was fine before the podcast. I think I'm just it's starting to hit me full force.
oh, they're talking about coding. Yeah,
So
yeah. No coding experience required for HeroQuest.
I
But
I
yeah,
don't
the
I
Ax
don't know.
the
Like
Axian stuff is the Axian stuff is very expensive, but I'm giving him credit for the fact that he's trying to do something new. Like he hasn't. I mean, there's nothing wrong with releasing a bunch of quests, a bunch of tiles, a bunch of cards, giving us more of the same, but variations of what we've seen before, as
like I
opposed to
said,
inventing a whole new system that
15
someone could use.
bucks isn't like
Yeah.
a bad price for what you're getting, I think, but also considering the fact that I don't know how available a lot of this stuff is to the community for almost nothing. I mean, is this just the stuff on Etsy? Like, that's what I'm saying is like, you probably look and the community probably has a site that, you know, where you can get the stuff for little to nothing. And I'm not saying that like that's what it's worth. What I'm saying is the fact that like the community cares enough about it that the money comes second. You know, it comes second because they want people to enjoy it, but they also need to be able to pay for what they're making. You know,
let me give you an example here of, if you're wondering, like, what does the community have to offer outside of what these guys are doing or some other place. So I got the name wrong. It's HeroQuest Adventure, singular. HeroQuestAdventure.com. This is the website that I had only found out about very shortly before it went down. Like, the creator was like, I can't do this anymore. The site's gone. Sorry. And people were like, no, come back. I'll do it. I'll manage it for you, and I'll find a host for you. And so some people saved it. So it was like, that's cool. So similar to like what happened with Yield In, like it was Dwayne Agan's in, and it's like, I can't do it anymore. And other people are like, we'll take it over. We'll keep it going. So I think that's great. But yeah, go to this website. This is just one of many, but I mean, this is one that's readily available. You click on quests, you got all this stuff. These are all quests for HeroQuest made by fans from the 90s till now. Check it out. And a lot of these are more than one quest. It's not just one adventure. So I don't know how many that is. I didn't count them all. But lots of quests. And you got ratings. So a lot of them are singular quests. But I mean, here, this one's got 41 quests in it. This one's got 27, 25, 18, 15. Are they good? I mean, you can decide for yourself. But I mean, this is all free. So let's just pick one. UltraQuest, a new adventure. All right, let's click on that. Captain Mohawk made this. I've never seen this before. He wrote it in HeroScribe. Here's the samples. So pretty small, easy quest. Simple, basic. But I mean, these are the maps. He talks about it. Okay, so he tells you what tiles you need for it. So this is a mixture of like expansions. So if you don't have these expansions, you might need to print these out to play it the way that he intends. So, but I mean, this is all like, he uses official material. So he has not created any new artwork or anything, but you just download it. And it's a RAR file. I'll just cancel it out. But some of them include their own artwork too. So like, they've made images of cards and stuff that you could print. So Chronicles of Sir Ragnar, Dealing with Death. Road Warrior made this in 2013. So he's got some stuff. Some of these quests are really small. Look at this, just a few rooms. But when you think about it, like, there's some Frozen Horror quests where they use every room, and that's like a 4 to 6 hour quest, just at a regular table. Just letting you know. Plus the monsters are like, 5 body points each as opposed to like 1 or 2. If you're playing under the European rules, it may go quicker because most of the monsters have only 1 body point. And if you die, you die. There's no death saves in the European rules. But yeah, so you could download all this stuff and be playing for like years. And they've got ratings for difficulty. It's a pretty nice site. So check it out. That's HeroQuestAdventure.com. And then this is
.com.
older, but it's
Whoa, did I just see heroin in your search history?
uh
What are you doing?
okay. This is HeroQuest by Phoenix. And these are, I was talking back in the day about those magazines. So you've got Drago Brazil. That was a fanzine. So, but I mean, Phoenix has modified these quests for the North American system, and you can play them if you want. We got some, he calls them unofficial. I mean, I guess there's some debate in the community about that. But I mean, Running the Gauntlet, Growl of Thunder, those are from the Dave Morris novels. This is all free. The Halls of Durag Doll and Eyes of Chaos were from White Dwarf magazine.
So, see,
Revenge
that's
of Weatherman,
good. And this
Marvel.
site is still up.
Yep. But I mean, just a word of caution. If Hasbro wanted to, they could shut this whole thing down. because yes, they're modified, but I mean, he uses the original artwork, he uses the original titles. It's not being sold, but I mean, in theory, this is still IP that they own. They could C&D him if they wanted to. They
That
choose
would be
not to because
awful because it's free.
it would be, yeah. It would be a dick move. It would backfire on them. I think fans would
Yeah,
be,
considering the fact that people are selling like modified versions of the game with another name
yeah.
on it. So
Now, I hate to say it, but there are people on Etsy that are selling exactly this stuff. Like they've printed it out and they're just selling it.
that's even worse.
Yeah, those people are playing with fire. They're walking on thin ice, all those metaphors. So I don't recommend doing that. But um, the last thing I was going to show you is make sure I'm signed out, so I'm not giving you I'm not doxing myself here. Okay. All right. The last one here. This is SundayQuest. So this one, before I even knew what this was, people were just talking about it. SundayQuest, SundayQuest. The reason is because the HeroQuest. So Yield In is a very famous HeroQuest fan website. They have their own Facebook group. I was part of it really briefly. I just didn't like the way. I don't know. I just got annoyed with Facebook in general, so I stopped using it. But he was posting like content just constantly and like getting feedback and updating it and so then he was going to release it as HeroQuest Adventures, and I don't know how he talked to them, but somehow he found out from Avalon Hill, no, you can't use that name if you're going to sell it. You got to change the name. So he changed it to SundayQuest Adventures. So Giles McNeil and Peter McNeil, not to be confused with the actor. But yeah, he releases these booklets, and the cool thing is you can buy the book on Amazon. Again, none of this is sponsored. So he's selling it for $5 on Kindle digital or $10 as a paperback. And it's 12 adventures. And when you look at it, it's pretty basic. It's black and white. I mean, it's just a set of quests that he wrote. And that's a pretty good price. I mean, if you just printed it yourself, it would come out to pretty close to that. Pretty much the same. So it's like an at cost. And the fact is that he's also given it away for free. I can't get back to the page. But on, let's see. SundayQuest. Yeah, here's a guy I think who's doing it the right way. Uh, Petronicus. Okay, so let's say you want to grab the PDF and look at it yourself. Well, you can just click that link and download it for free. So he's got volume 1 through 11. See, again, look, you know, it's really transparent. It's really obvious what it is. Volume 11 he hasn't released, so you probably can only see that on Facebook. But I mean, how do you join the Facebook group? You just have a Facebook account, you just join. I think they have to approve you, but I mean, I was approved. So there's samples. So anyway, no miniatures, no tiles, no cards. He just has you use the existing material. So some of these use the expansions, some of them use the game system, various combinations. But I mean, this is a really good thing. So there's like over 100 quests right there, and you could get them all for free, or you could pay $100 to get them all in booklet form. Saves you printing it out yourself. So anyway, that's all I had for the HeroQuest Power Hour. That's it.
All right.
Get any good comments there at the end?
Sorry, I
It's
was
not
like
just an extra
I was
quest.
coughing, so give me 1 second. I was getting my composure back.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like we got some. We had some like like they were chatting amongst themselves.
Oh
Man,
yeah.
can't speak today.
Let me tell you another YouTuber who does a great job with like reviewing, like actually reviewing fan made stuff. So AshQuest, Amalgam Ash, I already mentioned him. Cristobal on LaGuardia de Morcar. I mean, I know it's a Spanish channel. You can use subtitles if you don't speak Spanish, but I mean, he I think people send him stuff though. I don't know if he actually buys it, but I mean, people send him like mods that are available, and so he'll like play test them or unbox them, show them off. So there are people that are trying to like promote their stuff, and I really think that is what you need to do if you're one of these creators, because like I said, otherwise you're doing what I'm doing. You're just looking at the page and going, that kind of looks like it kind of sucks for $35. Like it doesn't look good. Like Axian, I'm giving him more of a chance because I've seen Amalgamash's video. I've seen that website. I've seen the explanations of what it actually is. Because if I just looked at that, I'd go, that looks really plain. I don't know if it's worth the money. But then when I realized what it actually is, like, oh, he actually created like new mechanics for the game. Now, do I like those mechanics? I might want to try them out myself, but at least it, gives you more something to go on. If you just throw up a couple pictures, it kind of feels kind of shady. Like you look at the UltraQuest and it's like I can't even read most of those cards. So I have no idea what it is. It might not even be any good.
Well,
I
and
need more
noticed
info.
by Bohemius here, he mentioned that you can find a lot of free material in Facebook
Facebook.
groups. So
Yep.
I don't use Facebook personally, but I could see that being a good place for like a resource.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Social media. If you can find the social media group where that creator is active, and the Yield In HeroQuest Facebook group is one such place. So yeah, you may be able to just get the stuff right away. Bohemius is mentioning, yeah, the true fan made cult on Europe, especially in Spain. They worship the boxes for fan made HeroQuest, complete expansions with mini cards and boxes, and they're going crazy and producing, collecting them. Yeah, it's weird when you say collecting them because it's like I can just print the PDF, so I've created it. But it definitely makes a difference. Like I'm thinking to the interviews we did with Luca Posky for the Wizard Quest pack. Like for years, we talked about it in the forums, and we were looking at the drafts, and like it was all text, just text, 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 ideas, imagination. But then when you actually put out an image of what the tiles are going to look like, okay, that's cool. But then you actually print it out and glue it to chipboard and cut it out with your scissors, and you put it on the board and actually play test it. Then you see it all come together, and you're like, oh yeah, that lightning bolt really does look cool next to the broken wall, next to the spider web. It all kind of comes together. So I agree. There's definitely um, a feeling, a vibe, atmosphere that's created when you bring those board game components together, because that's the whole thing. Like HeroQuest is a visual, tactile game. It's not just pencil and paper like some RPGs. But I mean, even people who play D&D, like they like to have miniatures and backgrounds and mood music. You add more to the experience. It's not just completely in your imagination. So it's all important. So that stuff needs to be attractive. It needs to be a certain level of quality to justify
Also
getting
needs
it
to be affordable.
or pay.
God, I have
Yes.
no voice anymore. Ugh.
Yeah. Because someone could say, listen, I'm a starving artist. I need money, so I'm going to charge whatever I want. It's like, yeah, but so are your customers. They're not rolling in dough necessarily either for games. So they're going to look for the bargains. They're going to look for the justification for it. I mean, you've got so much stuff out there competing for your dollars. I mean, you got all these Kickstarters for games. You've got all these commercial products, and then you've got fans creating stuff.
Ribby, I've
So
got plenty back there. It's every time I take a drink, I'm refreshed. But look, man, I don't know how much longer I got in me.
yeah,
I've got a frog in my throat. Won't go away.
yeah, Strange Bus bourbon or whatever. Yeah, you guys could probably talk liquor. Just keep drinking.
Yeah.
This should not be constituted as medical advice. Yeah.
I would do
So,
it if I didn't have to prep for dinner tomorrow and stuff.
oh man, yeah, we
For
got Thanksgiving
Thursday.
coming up.
Yeah.
Gotta pace yourself, man. Well, I'm done with the HeroQuest stuff. I think you guys had a lot of good things to say, and I did too. And I feel like, again, I'm not trying to discourage people from creating content, not by a long shot, and I'm not discouraging people from selling stuff either. Assuming you're not scamming people, you're just trying to share your art with the world and make a buck on the side. That's great. I'm just saying to people, you can do more than you think you can. Like, you have a lot of power and a lot of resources available to you if you want to get started as an artist for free. If you want to get similar kinds of content that people are selling, but maybe save a little bit of money. And you creators out there,
you can do it.
Yeah. And you creators out there, there's better ways to do what people are doing. I mean, some people are doing a pretty good job of marketing themselves. So I think SundayQuest, I think it's mostly word of mouth, but I mean, he seems to be doing a pretty good thing. And AxianQuest, he has good presentation. He's gotten people to review his stuff. Yeah, that's what you have to do, because if you want people to actually buy it and actually get money, you have to promote it some way, and hopefully you're doing it in an honest, an honest way. So should we take a break, or should we launch into the next topic?
I'm gonna go for break real quick, so it gives
Sounds
us
good,
time
man.
to use the restroom and see if I can get some part of my voice back. I think some of it's coming back, so a real unfortunate time for me to start losing my voice. But
Yeah, you start talking like Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Snap to a Slim Jim. No, don't do it.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
Yeah.
You got 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
3 minutes
of playtime.
Bonesaw is ready.
He's ready.
Oh yeah. Killed what was left of your voice. Just kidding.
That's it.
Ruby says, I mean, they're still putting out adventure design kits, right? And they've done so knowing the current climate of the internet, Etsy, eBay, social media. So the question is, where's that line? Yeah. Avalon Hill wants you to make your own stuff. Doug Hopkins wants you to make your own stuff. And I think it's a win-win.
It's the whole point of the game.
Yeah, I think it's a win-win for Avalon Hill, because, and on one point you could say, well, why would they do that? Because they want you to buy expansions, right? Like, I don't have any imagination. I got to buy an expansion to tell me how to play HeroQuest. No, because when you buy the expansion, you're getting new miniatures, you're getting new tiles, but guess what? You can use those any way you want to. So it gives you just more inspiration to create new rules, new adventures, new mechanics, new storylines based on that inspiration. That's what it is. But even if you don't buy that stuff, you could still do it. You're like, I don't have the frozen horror, but I want to have a bunch of really hard quests set in a frozen tundra. Okay, have at it. You got the blank quest map. Go for it.
All right. Before I forget, I'm going to take a quick break.
Don't die.
We'll be right back. Don't go away. More RantCast to come.
RantCast. Break quest.
That's right. Be right back, guys. Let me go ahead and bring Kurgan back on here. All right, you're back.
RantCast.
Oh, so close. We almost got it that time. All
RantCast.
right. There you go. Perfect. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Which login verification code for what? You get hacked, did I?
No, I'm trying to sign back in. Prove me, bro.
Here. Give me 1 second. I'll give that to you. Just can't share my screen now.
Yeah, don't dox yourself. Hack sword.
All right, we're back. Thanks for everybody for waiting. I appreciate it. Had some time to clear my throat out a little bit. I'm probably still going to be a little iffy, so bear with me, as well as probably be taking some sips of liquid every now and then. Sound okay on my end? What? What about heroin?
Don't do heroin.
Don't do heroin. It's not good, kids. Don't do the heroines. All right. Anyway, we'll start off with what I've got here. Over in game news, let's go ahead and get this all set up here. So, as of the 12th of November, I'll kind of reference this article by Eurogamer. If I have to reference anything, I'll use my quotes. But Ubisoft looks like is being sued. They're already. If you don't know who Ubisoft is, they're a game company. I've probably brought them up so many times about how much I don't like them, along with EA and other big AAA gaming companies. But Ubisoft's kind of been on the big radar lately in regards to kind of the massive flop that Star Wars Outlaws was. Disregarding my opinion on that game, it did not sell very well.
Dang.
Did not do very well, and rightfully so. But it caused them to push back their future Assassin's Creed title. Their stock is plummeting, probably the lowest it's ever been, back down to where they were. Like, their stock is at where it was probably like 12 years ago when they were kind of on the rise. Like when they were on the rise, like before they like kind of skyrocketed a little bit. And then on just to top it all off with the fact that they're tanking money, and they're already kind of in the red, they're being sued. Now, this may not be, like, a lot of people are kind of blowing this out of proportion. They're being sued, but keep in mind, according to this article, it looks like they're being sued by like two fans. But the reason I'm bringing this article up here is because it has to do with kind of a controversial topic of one of their games from about 10 years ago called The Crew. Now, once again, if you don't know what the game The Crew is, it was one of Ubisoft's big kind of open world driving. I don't know if it's open world, but it was one of their driving games during their live service. Like boom, I would say. In the PlayStation 4 era, Ubisoft was kind of in that live service hitch where all their games had to connect online. Didn't matter if you're playing single player or multiplayer, your game had to connect to an online service. Most of their games still kind of do it now, but if you don't have an online, if you're not online or if something's going on with your internet provider, you can still go offline in some of those games. Around the time, and this is why I say people get upset about these things, the companies like this have been trying to push really weird fucking shit where, they've tried to make disposable games for a very long time. This was one of those things. And before I get more into this article, I will describe this. Live service games were a big thing. Since like, I think the biggest time I can remember is like 2010 to 2014 where companies like Ubisoft and EA were trying to push their multiplayer games into a live service background where you had to be online. So,
quick question for somebody who maybe is not as up on this. How is live service different than like a subscription based game, like an MMO, like World of Warcraft or something like that?
So, I mean, most people should be kind of familiar with it, but for like a game like an MMO, like for example, WoW or any other MMO, even today, you knew what you were buying, right? You bought a game that was vastly open world. It usually had a ton of stuff that was going to come with it, right? Because WoW is a very big title. I mean, even before when it first started, you knew you were going to be connecting with other players. That's the game on the box describes that. It would state that there's going to be a subscription service with it. The game holds support nonstop. It does say, I think at some point in time, that they are going to they might discontinue the game at some point in time. But most of the time when you buy a popular MMO, it will stay in service. I mean, Old Republic has been going for 15 years now. WoW's been going for 20-ish years, I think, almost. Yeah, it's like I think 03 was World of Warcraft. I can't remember, but it's been going for quite a long time. And most MMOs, most of them, you know what you're getting, you know what you're diving into. If the game gets shut down, yeah, you're out of that money. But
you were close.
You are, yeah, they're celebrating the 20th anniversary then, if they're still going. But, excuse me. So, you know what you're going into when you buy an MMO. You're playing for the community. You're playing not just for the community, like not just for the game itself, but for the community. Because most of the time, MMOs, they kind of have a weird storyline. I mean, older ones did. Old Republic's not so bad. You play it by yourself.
Yeah, you can.
But so, yes, Ribby, it is the Yak Cast. I'm not. My voice is gonna be awful.
Yeah.
So
your microphone doesn't mute it out. You gotta cough nice and loud.
It could be the fact that I'm probably using using my main mic. No, it's not broadcast. Okay. I don't know. I have to check my broadcast settings. Anyway, so with something like this, like a live service, they don't do live services like this much anymore because with subscriptions and all that other crap, they can find another way to take advantage of you. But with a live service, big companies thought, well, we get more people in seats with games like this where we can update the game via live online capabilities. So if we keep you online, people can drop in and drop out of games seamlessly. Excuse me. So, and that was the thing with the driving games. Like Need for Speed Rivals was a great game, but you had to be online, which, whatever. I think they found a way around that with that game, but it had online features that were only accessed if you were online. Like you could challenge players at will, there's drop in, drop out, all that stuff. Just wacky online features that couldn't be accessible if you had a online and offline server. So the game is connected to a server. However,
you can't host your own. They've got to run it for you.
Well, like I said, most games, even back then, some had an offline feature. I think Rivals did. Like if you couldn't connect to it, at least I think at one point in time, don't get me wrong, I think as long as it was connected once, you were fine. I think they went around that at one point in time, but because I remember being offline, I played Rivals. So never played the Crew. But the Crew, I guess, according to all this, was online all the time. They did not, Ubisoft could have coded an offline version, but it was online all the time. I mean, it had the capabilities to play it offline. Like you could play it by yourself, but it was always connected to that server. Well, with that, because the reason I think this is stupid as shit, and I think the reason they kind of started walking away from games like these, I mean, they still do live services, but there is an offline feature for most of these games, is because servers cost money for big companies, and like big companies, big corporate bigwigs, and you got the board and the CEO, the people that don't play the games, they think that people will get too tired of these games and they just fucking throw them away. No, if a game is good, we will keep it. Yeah, we might not play it for a while, but we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
Or you'll get your diehards. You'll get your super diehards that have lives. They have lives outside of the video game, but they don't buy video games like they're disposable trash. They buy and play a certain set of games, and that's their game. And they grow up, and they're like, I don't like this stuff. I like what I like. And you have people who liked this game, and, well, Ubisoft kept these servers up, and went, well, it's time to pull the plug. Servers costing more than the player base. So they decided to pull the plug. When you buy this game, you can buy it digitally or you can buy it physically. It does not say on the box, this game will no longer be accessible to you. As in you're buying a license. This is an actual game you're buying if you buy it physically. It does say, I think somewhere in the license agreement, that the servers might get pulled. I can't remember. And I think in this article, they state it. But like I said, we'll go through this. But from what I've got in my research here, the game that they're pulling, this one, they're shutting it down. Once the servers go offline, you cannot play it ever again. There's no server. There's no other server. Like with some MMOs, when they go offline, like Galaxies, there are people who have cracked servers available for that game because it was popular. Once again, for the art of preservation, we don't have that. And
so 10 years later,
I can play this game, dude. So, let me see. So, let's see. I guess according to this quote here by Eurogamer, imagine you play, because I'm gonna put this in the seat of anybody else who isn't fully understanding me right now. Imagine you buy a pinball machine, and I'll go in a quote right here. I believe this is by, let me see here, by Tom Phillips. Imagine you buy a pinball machine, and years later you enter your den to go play it, only to discover that all the paddles are missing. The pinball and bumpers are gone, and the monitor that proudly displayed your unassailable high score is removed. This is according to quoted by the plaintiff's lawyers wrote in the new lawsuit, as first reported by Polygon. So I will correct my statement. That's what those quotes are. Turns out the pinball manufacturer decided to come into your home, gut the insides of the pinball machine, and remove your ability to play the game that you bought and you thought you owned. So, once again, as I've stated before, this is why I don't completely agree with buying games as a license, because there's already a campaign out there, and I'm gonna pull it up right now because this kind of helps with my my point here. There's a campaign called Stop Killing Games, and it's a legit campaign.
Wait, what's it called?
Stop Killing Games. It's right here.
Stop Killing Games. Oh, dang. Yeah. Accurate.
So, and this is even going on in Europe. So, you go to stopkillinggames.com, and they even have this stated right here. So, and according to this article, Ubisoft has helped spark this campaign. So, you can support this, and I would actually, advise to people, they visit the site, find out what you can do to put in your support. I don't know if you have to pay anything. It doesn't look like you can, or that you have to. But you can sign this petition. But yeah. So all these guys are asking for is just to play this game. I know that it's hard. And like I said, around the time I think it was 2015, 2016, I think Ubisoft kind of stopped doing the only online. I could be wrong. They've probably done it with, they've done it with like multiplayer titles. I'm pretty sure them and EA, other developers, have done multiplayer titles, like the multiplayer only stuff that goes on.
Yeah.
But
you can still play the Halo games on Xbox 360. You just got to find somebody.
Things like Battlefield, or things that were multiplayer oriented or multiplayer only. Just like with MMOs, you kind of know what you're getting into. Like even with Call of Duty, like early Call of Duty games, they have a campaign. You can revisit those games for the campaign. If the servers are shut down, or they're all hacked and they suck, you don't have to play the multiplayer. You can play some. You can play locally. You can't mostly with the new ones. That's why Modern Warfare 3, the remaster for that, was fucking shit, because it was multiplayer focused, and the campaign was dog crap. So yeah.
Oh,
So Ultima
so
Online, you can find servers. Subspace. I've never heard of Subspace, but like I
or
said before,
or
there are fan servers for other games, older games. Like me and Kurgan have played on. Well, we play on the meat
yeah,
grinder every now and then. We need to go back to that. We need to do a
yeah,
stream. We
man.
need to get on the meat grinder again. But like,
Hell yeah, man.
or just play some like. I mean, there's even been
Outlaws.
multiplayer. There's been multiplayer, like mods for games that aren't even multiplayer, like Just Cause. Just Cause 2 and 3, I think, had multiplayer mods,
Oh,
and those
Deus
games are
Ex.
all. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
wouldn't
So
mind
like,
trying that.
I don't. Excuse me. I don't not support multiplayer, and with today's multiplayer, I used to hate it, but like you know what you're getting into when you go into that.
I
So if you buy it,
I love
it's your fault.
yeah.
Like,
I love multiplayer, but yeah, we're talking about you bought a game, or you thought you bought a game, you thought you owned a game, and yeah, they once they take those servers down, you can never play it again. There's no
and
hack servers, no private servers.
right.
You can't
So
run your own.
quoting
Um,
quoting Eurogamer again. While there's no suggestion game publishers will be required to keep online servers active forever, there does seem to be a greater acknowledgement that consumers lack awareness of what they're acquiring when they're buying a game. That
Release
right
the
there.
net code or something so you can run your own servers.
But like, just this is enough awareness for people. And I'm bringing this up right now. Sorry, my voice. I'm having a hard time. I'm bringing this up right now. They are now starting to not fix anything. They are telling people right now that you are not buying a game, you're buying a license. And with PC, the PC market expanding and getting more popular, I know that with our current audience, I don't know if like the PC market is anything that you guys are interested in, or if that's where you guys play games, or if you play games or video games. But like the big thing here is with the console market becoming smaller, PC getting bigger, most people who buy on PC are buying digitally. If that's anything at all anymore. Unless you're buying classic games, making the classic game market or the physical market here extremely expensive.
Yeah. So you
This
gotta
is
hope that
literally a warning because my voice can't get out any like I can't speak loud enough. And I wish this is where I had a huge audience for is the fact that literally it's not the fact that I just support physical media, it's the fact that we need it. We really do need it because the more we walk away from this stuff, the more we put our entertainment, our relaxation time, our freedom, and that's for anybody. It's living anywhere. The more you put it in a corporate asshole's hands, and whether they're doing it maliciously or they think it's just because they can get more money and they feel like it's a better thing for you, they don't know how you like to have fun. They shouldn't decide strictly only one way for you to have fun.
it's like they want to starve it out of you.
It was like with the Disney Vault and stuff back in the day.
Oh yeah,
They brought that shit back because they knew people liked that stuff. And like they're trying to do it again here with video games. Like, oh no, sorry, it's going away because we're bringing other stuff back. We're remaking it. We're gonna retell the story because that's the only story we want you to hear. Like, no. In fact, that's worse because when they did the Disney Vault thing, they were just saying, "Oh, it's gone forever. Watch our new shit."
Yep.
Like now they're not even making new shit anymore. They're remaking video games off the old ones and sealing the old ones away or getting rid of them. And that I feel like that's just malicious in itself. Seems like
quick
most
thing.
What?
Ribby is mentioning something called Kali or Kali.net. It's a legacy online gaming system. There's no support. It was compiled 20 years ago for Windows 95. Use at your own risk. Yeah, because I was mentioning Xlink Kai. So if a game had IPX LAN support, you could hack it to play it over the internet. So, but that's only games that had that support. Just like you've got Xbox 360 games that the online servers are gone, but you could play it like System Link. So you could just get 2 Xboxes and network them together. But not every game had those options. A lot of the Steam games that you see were, what was the service called? I used to have it off the top of my head. GameSpy.
Yep.
GameSpy was the power. It was powered by GameSpy. Those servers went down. Multiplayer broke.
So we
Unlike
use what did we use before we started doing our own thing? It was like what do we use for Jedi Academy and stuff?
Well, Jedi Academy is a little different because
but we used like a third party. It was like a third party LAN thing. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah, Game Ranger. Game Ranger.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, at least with Jedi Academy, it's based on the Quake 3 engine, so you can just run your own server, or there's other master servers, even though Raven Software's one has been gone forever. Steam rebuilt a lot of those games with their own stuff, but then again, you're still dependent.
Put me on the same servers as the Switch players, man. I want to do that again.
Oh, that was so good. But yeah, so if Steam just goes out of business or decides their business model isn't working anymore, all those GameSpy games are broken again. So yeah,
GOG,
it's like,
buddy.
Hey, there you go. Yep.
So that's
You're
another
right.
thing I'm getting to. And before I forget, Kurgan, just to answer to Joe Kosher here, seems like most new PCs and laptops don't have a built-in media drive. I had to buy an external DVD drive for my wife's PC since it didn't have an internal one. That is true. That's been a thing for a long time. I think since probably since 2015, 2016, they started really phasing those out. I mean, you could do that beforehand, but I have two in my
it's got an SSD
in my storage for like discs, but like I said, I have digital copies of mostly everything. So I would say I understood the transfer to digital. It's the fact that nowadays, because back in the day when we made the transfer to digital on PC, back when consoles were still really relevant, we still had console exclusives, we still had PC games. I still liked to buy physical, but I would still get the digital copy. The big thing is now there's no physical copy, and they're deciding what they're going to do. They're now like hitting it home, because before they were like, oh yeah, it's a license, they can decide to rip it up. But like you were like, yeah, okay, whatever. It doesn't say anything. There's no like term, like it's just in like that terms of service. They say that with every game in terms of service. If you really look in your console, you buy physical media, they could tell you that they could decide what they want to do with that too. And like really at the end of the day, you own it. You bought it, it's in your house. They're not gonna knock your door down and take it from you. Like the big thing is that now they're using that clause, and they told Steam to actually put verbiage in when you buy it. Like literally when you buy it, it's underneath the buy now button. You are buying a license. Meaning that when like Gabe passes the torch and it goes to the new leadership at Steam, just like Kurgan said, when Steam decides they want to change their rules, you could just see a bunch of fucking games disappear off your fucking library. And like it doesn't happen now, right? I think what was it? I think I missed it too. I think as of or maybe in December, I'm going to the next topic here. The Sonic games. There's like a Sonic Mega Collection or something that's disappearing. Sega's ripping that off. There's a whole bunch of fucking games in that collection that are just gone. And they say if you own it, you can keep it, but you better buy now because it's going to be gone. They're jacking up sales. And that's what like is like hitting home for me, is they're just killing games right now. They're just destroying them. Like it's mostly right now older stuff. Like I was going to try to stream The Suffering because I did have a copy at one point in time. I can't find it. It's probably long gone. But I went to go download it. It's not even on GOG anymore. They physically, because Midway no longer exists, I don't think. But the owners who own that license now no longer want it out. It's gone. So it doesn't even exist on GOG, and GOG really tries hard to keep those games on. So now I have to go and pirate it somewhere. Which, like I said, somebody also mentioned that pirating is saving certain video games because there's nowhere to buy them. Like, so, and that's what I'm saying. This, I would have paid for that game, given the profits to
What
whoever owns the license. The suffering.
piracy has saved games. It is crazy to think that like you have companies where they're trying to like release an emulation of one of their classic games and they don't have it. Like they physically don't have it. So they have to go to some fan who dumped the ROM and like basically like grab that and use
Yeah.
it.
So
So
for anybody, and this is fucking wild. Sorry. Give me a second here. Let me grab a drink.
I was trying to think of there was some DRM program
Yo,
that was on a lot of like
well, hold on.
compilations of classic games, not
This
security
is
ROM.
this
It's
is
called something
pertinent
else.
to you too, Kurgan, because I don't know if you have all these, but you might on your like
Okay.
emulation machine. But according to The Verge, this is an article from The Verge, but I've heard this already from multiple sources. So a bunch of Sega classics are being delisted.
Oh,
So according to
sure.
this, and like this is just to give people clarity, as of December 6th at 11:59, you're going to be losing Crazy Taxi, Mean Bean Machine, Jet Set Radio, Nights into Dreams, Sonic 3D Blast, um, all from Xbox, Nintendo eShop, PlayStation Store. You're gonna lose a lot of the Genesis
Ah,
classics, like plus 50 more old games.
middle
Um,
fingers, man. I'm so glad that I have
so
Crazy Taxi and Jet Grind Radio on
now,
Dreamcast,
granted,
but I don't have Nights into Dreams.
granted,
I do have Sonic 3D Blast.
these are happening. According to The Verge, these are happening. Quoting The Verge here, you're happening
Oh,
ahead of Sega's planned reboots
reboot.
for Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, and Crazy Taxi. But the revivals haven't like fully been announced anytime soon. We just saw, I think I saw it on the VGAs last year or something. I did announce, we did talk about this on the RantCast or a RantCast that they were planning on bringing back some old games with like some like they were planning on redoing some of these, but they are delisting a bunch of them, and they were only announcing like reboots of 5 or 6 games.
Well,
So
what they're really saying is we're going to take it away so that you have to buy it again. Have to buy it again if you want
no,
it.
you don't. If you own it, they're letting you keep it like right now. If you don't
Well,
own it, you're losing it. You're losing the chance to buy it again.
delisting means you can't buy a new digital copy, and if you already have it but you like erased it, you can't
Any
download it
games
again.
that you have purchased will still be available to download and play after they're delisted from the storefronts. So
Oh,
if
my
you
bad.
have your eye on any of them, you might want to buy them before they're gone. And like I said, I've already checked a couple sources prior to this. This is something that I've known for a little while. But like
Yeah.
once again, if you don't have any money right now, you're kind of
I
fucked.
if you were on the Xbox 360 like I was and still am, you're used to this because there's this great game will come out on Xbox Live Arcade and you're like, yes, this is great, and you keep waiting for the price to go down, and then one day they delist it and it's like you're screwed. But
Okay,
if you
but like
bought it,
it's
you can
available
download
on
it
other
again.
platforms though usually. This is getting
Yeah,
removed everywhere. It's done. So unless
that's
you're
worse.
and chances are they're gonna go to places like Vim's Lair and stuff and tell them not to have it. Like so that the site, so unless you're like
Yeah.
pirating it illegally somewhere else, or
Well, and even
you
even
catch
like
it now.
limited run games, those sales don't last very long anyway. So even if they brought it back, it's like, okay, so you've got an extra month to buy it, then it's gone again
Yeah, it's
forever.
fucking
Buy a
crazy.
really buy a really expensive collector cartridge. Ruby says, like when you could open Quake and load a list of servers and connect directly in the game. That was mind blowing. Yeah, because the thing is, like, people were just running servers off their computer or at their university or their work, and you could always pay a service, and I do. So like I run the Meat Grinder Jedi Academy 24/7. Like I'm paying a monthly subscription fee to like keep that going because I don't have the bandwidth to spare to just run it off my own computer. But yeah, at the very least, like even if that disappeared, I could just be like, "Yo, Strange Bus, you want to play some Jedi Academy?" It's going to be a little laggy, but let's play it on my computer or play it on your computer. We can just connect to one another. If I want to play the Halo games on 360, I can still do it. I just have to, call up my friend and say, "Hey, get on. We're playing. We're playing Halo 3."
So for anybody
Playing Halo Reach.
who's not in the EU, watching the VOD or on the stream now, and you want to take action, but you can't sign the petition because the petition is EU only. Oops, I hit the wrong button. You could take action. You just click. Oops. You click this button here. Take action other ways. Select your country, and then it'll give you available options in your region. And like I said, these are important. They are definitely important. So, and like I said, for anybody just listening, they give you in priority what to do. So priority, medium, high, contact the DGCCRF. You could also, for in low priority, contact the FTC or spread the word on social media. You could do all three. But they also mentioned, like, for this right now, this option requires you to own the crew. I am going to say it right here and right now. Because this is happening to multiple titles, social media, or, start another petition. I mean, I'm almost thinking about doing it myself, but like, that's what I'm saying is, like, spread the word at the end of the day, because it may not be affecting you for video games, but like maybe later on in the future, it could affect you with any of the other entertainment that you own. And like, it's already messing with our movies, but like you said, video games were kind of like a Wild West thing 10 plus years ago. Now that life is changing, the way we view our entertainment is changing, and the newer generations are kind of adjusting to that, we don't.
We lose sound. Oh.
Yeah, you lost sound because I accidentally hit my cord and broadcast got a little messy. Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to have to just use my mic. That's stupid. But yeah, so you do what you can. Let me see if I can fix this while I'm trying to get this taken care of. Give me 1 second. Okay, hello? There we go. I'm back.
Oh yeah, we're back.
But yeah, so
I was just sharing my Jedi Academy server there. Still up.
Yeah, like Ribby, you are free to join us on there. Like, anybody who still owns Jedi Academy, let's do it. You know?
But if you want to
Star
play
Wars
us
is definitely in danger with that shit. Like, really bad.
give us a heads up and we'll try to get in there. I work during the day. Strange Bus, I think you still do too. So.
Well, work during the day.
Yeah.
I work at all times. Like, it's kind of a wild thing. Like, sometimes I could be working and be at home playing video games, get paid. During the holiday season, it's really busy. Like, my schedule for December is pretty freaking full. But I'll have a week off. But that's for the adoption and stuff. So if I get some free time, I'll probably be streaming after this. So because I haven't streamed in a while.
The funny thing is, if you join my server, like, there's bots just to keep the game going. Like, I sometimes go on there just to see, like, people get on, like, one person will get on and be like, "Are there anybody here who's not a bot?" And like, they'll play for a while and then they disconnect. And then somebody else joins and says, "Is anybody here who's not a bot?" And it's just like, dude, if you just stayed, you would have like a full crew, because like, you see the other person, oh crap, somebody's on here, and so then there's like 2 people, and then there's 3 people, and then I get on there and then they all leave. No, just kidding. no. But man, I had people get on there and cuss me out. It's like, man, just like the old days.
Wow.
You know, they text it to you. It's like calling you every name they can think of because you killed them twice. Used
You
a move
suck.
that I didn't approve of. That's why you suck. Yeah,
So
Jedi
right now,
Academy.
and like I said before I finalize this topic and go on to the next thing, which kind of connects into what I'm
Yeah.
going to talk about
Kind of.
next. Um,
Mhm.
I just want to say, like, literally, it is a serious matter. Like I said, and I understand with some people who live in different countries, it can be pretty normal. And like, I'm not dogging anybody here. I'm just making a pretty serious point. Um, because where I live in this country, um, capitalism is, I guess, a thing enjoyed by everybody, but there are people who really do like to take advantage of it. And that's why I have such a big problem with companies that are bigger than their own head, because we do really need that competition. That's what helps with that, right? Um, when we lose that competition, when companies get big enough to do that, which is I'm not going to get much into this topic, but which is why Google right now is under the microscope for Chrome and everything. Right now, our government is regulating them, and if it passes, they won't be able to own Google Chrome anymore. They have to diversify it, which will change Microsoft Edge and any other browser right now running Chromium, because they rely on that. So
Ah,
if you're not using Safari, Firefox, or Mulvad, or any other, like at least those three don't use Chromium, then you're probably going to be experiencing some security issues unless they can get their shit together on their own. But um, yeah, so uh, when companies get that big and stuff, they become like pseudo monopolies. And if the government doesn't step in because they don't see a problem or it's not inconvenient for them, then we have shit like this. Where they can kind of decide how you want to enjoy your life or your entertainment. And like I said, I know there are people starving out there, and this isn't really like a ginormous problem. But as I say, it starts off small, and it can get big, and it starts with stuff like this. So especially when you've got people like Activision Blizzard, who took a lot of their business practices from China, from communist practices in China, especially during
mhm,
like things like the Hong Kong riots and stuff. And I'm not trying to get political here. They did. And
mhm.
then when people started to notice that during those riots, they didn't stand with anybody against that because they weren't directly involved, but a lot of their streamers who were not part of that, but they were in that area, like from that area, and they were like, "Hey, look, we feel affected by that, so we're gonna make a statement." They silenced those streamers, fired them, and didn't give them pay. Um,
Dang.
so to apologize for it, they pretty much announced the second Overwatch and Diablo 4, and everybody forgot about it. So, like, that will always baffle me. But to uh, to
Yeah.
continue, that's why I don't really support companies like that. Is they're really big, they're super big. Um, there's not a lot of personalization, and two, those corporate heads don't get personal with any of their craft. There's nothing there's no art form in there. It's all just how do we make more money? How do we get things done faster? How does how do we get from point A to point B in little cost, more time,
Yeah.
more money, please investors, stuff like that. And that I know it sounds very cookie cutter, but that's really how it is. And
Yeah.
sometimes if they can cheat their way through it and it doesn't hurt anybody or it doesn't look to them like it hurts anybody, and even if it does and they're just cracking a few eggs, they'll do it.
Yeah. They can get away
So,
with it.
and
Yeah.
to me that's the Ubisoft and the EA standard. As we cracked a
Yep.
few eggs to make an omelet. So,
Yeah. And there's a sort of like don't hate the player, hate the game kind of thing going on too. Like one company says, well, hey, everybody else is doing it. we should do it too and get our piece. Until laws change or enough customers like turn their backs on it that they go, oh crap, maybe this isn't the best way. Maybe we can make a healthy profit and still be decent to our customers and somewhat ethical as a company.
Okay, so with that being said, moving over, like I said, the console market is kind of slowing down a little bit because most companies in that market, Microsoft and Sony right now with their new releases. Well, I think mostly Sony right now with the PS5 Pro. It was just looks like it was just released not too long ago. This article by The Gamer. Looks like we have a couple quotes here stating that the lack of interest in the PS5 Pro is forcing scalpers to sell them for a loss. So looks like what I'm taking from this article is just kind of grabbing at what they're stating for the price. Quotes, it almost certainly won't have gone up enough to whatever's selling it, making a profit, or even if it breaks even, as if you're willing to pay $700, 700 euro, the UK, for a new PS5 Pro, you can. They're still in stock pretty much everywhere, including directly from the source at PlayStation Direct. Despite that, scalpers in the US appear to be clinging to hope that it might be able to turn a profit. And according to them, scalpers are already admitting defeat when it comes to reselling the PS5 Pro. I'm going to go ahead and look.
I won't shed a tear for those scalpers, but at the same time, like the bigger issue is that
I won't.
Yeah,
but we're definitely going to look at the market here because it looks like according to this, and I quote from The Gamer, PS5 Pro listings on eBay's US site are for less than the console's RRP, with 26 bids for $560. So those are bids. Those aren't buy it now prices. I usually go for buy it now prices because that's how much you can buy it now. Now how much you can bid, because sometimes a bid will go higher at the last second.
Do I hear 2,000?
Yeah, with some of the listings as close as 1,000. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to take a look just real quick. I've already got this listed here. Looks like we've got the console on PlayStation, MSRP, and this is US, $699, or you could pay per month because everything's available at that at zero interest.
Financing.
Yeah, woohoo! Who wants to finance one of these? So the PS5 Pro is just supposed to give you a slight uptick, graphics fidelity. I haven't looked at the tech specs. I did review them a couple times, but I don't remember them off the top of my head. It did get some controversy not too long ago, but we'll take a look at what we got on eBay. Let's see, on $699.99 plus tax, wherever you're at.
So I'm
eBay
seeing
these are buy it
Walmart
now.
is selling laptops for that price or less.
Yeah. So buy it now prices.
Dang.
$789. So it looks like somebody's trying to sell for just a little bit more.
Box only.
So PlayStation
I'm laughing,
Enhanced
but
$750.
if I was trying to get this for Christmas, I'd be pissed. Be like,
yeah, this was a limited edition PS5 bundle. They want almost $3,000. Yeah, $3,200. No way. No way. Well, we're gonna skip these. This one just says, oh, this is, yeah, what, 165. What the fuck? Oh, just the disk drive. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
49,000.
It's part. So I think
$799. I don't see anything lower.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad are fighting over these right now. He got two.
So this one here, looks like $690 or best offer. So the best offer is $690.
Oh, Joe. He says, I scoff at those prices for a console. I spent $750 for an all-in board game.
Oof, bro.
Joe, do I dare ask which board game it was?
So
Joe,
I thought I had a deal. I thought I had a deal on one of these back in the day. Like this was still COVID time, and they were being scalped. But I bought my PS5 for $800. So close to MSRP, I think.
I mean, don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. I've spent a lot of money on board games, like, but for a single board game,
Yeah, I'm
I
not
mean,
seeing anything lower, but like the person
200
did not mention a buy it now price lower than that. So,
those prices are absurd. I mean,
they're close to the MSRP price. Somebody wants
which
this digital edition PS5. But this is I think the original. I know this isn't a PlayStation 5 Pro. This is a digital edition. Slim digital edition. A lot of these are still $700. So, and like I said, MSRP for a PlayStation 5 right now is $700. So, Clash of Eternia, Jesus, bro, that I wish I had that money right now, just
you
to
could
just
you could go to
drop.
the actual Eternia for that amount of money. Like, it doesn't even exist, and you could go there. Like, open a dimensional portal and go with
Go on vacation for that amount. It's just a small
yeah, was
vacation,
it
you know.
Dolph Lundgren, and I forget who played Skeletor. And remember the movie, the live action movie?
Man.
Oh man. Of course, they spent most of their time on Earth, so it's kind of like that's a waste.
So,
So I
yeah.
spent. I'm just checking to see how much I spent on OrcQuest.
Oh boy, getting into that.
Yeah, I'm just checking because I have a rule about how much I spend on a board game, self-imposed. Okay, so I spent. This is in 2024 dollars, including
$2024.
including shipping. I spent $190.91 on OrcQuest, and that was long after the crowdfunding thing was over. So the full thing, like everything, for that amount. And my self-imposed rule was like $200 is the max for a board game, and that better be like an
So,
awesome board game that I'm just gonna like love. But
most
for a
amount that I've
console,
spent,
my rule was, I guess it's pretty close to that, $200.
most amount that I've spent, and like this was not recent. Well, I guess I spent a lot of money on cigars, um, and whiskey, and bourbon and rye. But I'd say electronically, my PC, which I think was my PC upgrades were a little over 3,000, and then this when this came out, which I'm not getting another one of these right now. I don't use it enough. But this was 700 plus tax. So, oh, then the PS5, yeah, PS5. I don't have that anymore. The cigars, I'm actually looking at and I'm gonna tell you, Ruby, um, look up the Partagas 150. That is a cigar. It's a antique cigar. There's a box that I've recently gotten my hands on. Look up how much a box of those is. That's probably the most money I've probably dropped.
Frank Langella, Skeletor. Thanks, Ribby.
Because they're no longer available technically, but there is a box. There's a box available in my there's at the shop that I close to where I live at. Um, and the guy is literally he was selling the whole box, and he said they give me the box for free if I bought the box. Oh, He-Man, He-Man.
I started watching the original Masters of the Universe series again, and those first few episodes, like Skeletor's plans aren't quite that goofy. I mean, he really is an evil SOB. Yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah, if you were a kid with body image issues back then, you probably didn't appreciate it. But or if you were a kid watching X-Men, probably you a decade later. But yeah, everybody was in great shape. Like even Prince Adam, like he was hanging out at the gym like constantly, obviously. He did it for his kids. Yep. Yeah, Raul Julia as M. Bison, Frank Langella as Skeletor, Bill Goldberg as Bill Goldberg.
The guy that played Eggman in the Sonic cartoon, I really liked him. I can't remember his name right now.
See, we always called him Robotnik, but yeah, he was Dr. Eggman.
Let's get that hedgehog stew today. Oh, okay.
Nobody knew that.
I almost forgot.
Yeah.
So with the current console market being so expensive, from what I've researched, consoles are kind of dwindling in sales. And with scalpers still kind of on the rise, the reason I bring this up is both companies and consumers are kind of pointing the blame in different directions. Was it due to COVID? We had scalpers ever since the PS5's release and the new Xbox.
I remember it happened for the Wii as well, didn't it? And the Switch.
Yeah, but
You had
like
people...
the Wii sold. Like it was almost one of the top selling consoles of its time. Like
fair point.
For units, I mean, I can't.
Maybe I'm thinking of the Switch. Didn't they artificially limit the supply, or they were accused of limiting the supply at the start? And so like people were selling it, like the third party sellers at Walmart were selling it, and it was like really shady.
Hold on. Maybe I know the Wii U did not sell very well at all.
Maybe I'm thinking of the Wii U, but one of them, like there was a controversy at launch that they didn't have enough stock.
I have to grab the sales units from Nintendo for the
Thanks,
Wii.
Joe. Have a good night, Joe.
Oh yeah, have a great night, Joe. Thanks for sticking with us. So for the Wii, it looks like, according to that hardware, 101.63 million units. Following with the DS at 154.2 million units. Sold software to 921.85 million units.
RantCast.
So, like I said, the closest, I think, the Switch beat it, I think, so far at 146.4, but I'd say the Switch has been out maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah, the Wii U, I remember was a disappointment in terms of sales.
Keep in mind, yes, it was. Look at the Wii U. If you look at the Wii U's was at 13.56 million units.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Mario Maker was a lot of fun, and it was backwards compatible with Wii games. But yeah, they expected to sell a lot more.
I think they put Mario Maker on Switch, if I remember right, because I remember playing it.
Yeah, Mario Maker 2. Yeah.
So I remember trying to sell the Wii U when I worked at GameStop. I had a Wii U hat for like the longest time, and our Nintendo rep was a very nice lady. Her name was Rhonda. She was very nice.
Cool.
She was very upbeat. But yeah, I don't know. So a lot of people were trying to point, like I said, whether it was COVID and scalpers then, or like because of that time with COVID and we had scalpers during the PS5 time era, or because we're still in that era, but like, is it just not going to change now that we have, the amount of scalpers that we have, like trying to like mess with, sales, the amount of sales and the amount of units sold. I don't really think that's much to blame now because, like I said, with the PS5 Pro being sold, most people have their PS5. There's not much of a difference as there was with the PS4, and it's opposing console with the Xbox. Like I said, it's not like you need to buy a PS5 or PS4 Pro to get your better quality and 4K resolutions. I believe the PS5 can play 4K. It just plays at a lower frame rate. So the difference between the PS5 and the PS5 Pro, and like I said, I'm only using the PlayStation because that's what that's what's the big hubbub is right now. Not to mention the fact there's no another big thing is like this generation doesn't have any console exclusives at all, and that was a major selling point for consoles back in the day, especially during the um, like PS2 and Xbox era and the 360 and the PS3 era. There was a war between those two because of their exclusives. So
Yeah, I
it was a
hated exclusive.
reason to
I
own.
liked it when the game came out, but you're right. It served their purpose because you'd be like, oh man, if I want to play Mario, I got to buy Nintendo. Oh man, if I want to play Sonic, I got to buy Sega. Like that's how
Well,
it was.
I didn't like them either, but like there's almost no exclusivity at all. Like my thing was is that they back then they almost refused to put their certain exclusives or their brands on PC. Then they started doing it where they would keep them on the console for like a year or two and then release them on PC, therefore giving you that time to own the console. I liked that more. Like Horizon Zero Dawn didn't come out for PC till like 2019, I think. It was like, or not 20, yeah, like 2 or 3 years after the game came out. Gave them time to port it over, like actually work on the game for PC, and then they could do that. I think with the God of War game, it was less time, and now they're just porting games over to PC. And like, why? Because with your console being more expensive, the people who buy consoles, they buy them because they're technically supposed to be affordable. Now you're taking away their exclusivity and you're jacking the price up. So at this point, people might as well just save for PCs. I've had more people call me for PC advice and what to buy than like, like whether or not to get a console over that. So
I had a
um
Pentium memory.
oh, are we talking about old school hardware now?
Yeah,
Um
I discovered so Safe Disk and Star Force were the DRM systems that I had on some of those. So like you buy a compilation of classic games for the PC, and the only reason I bought it I was like, okay, I want to, you know,
okay,
respect the
children.
developers. I
Okay,
want to help the
I know I'm losing
the
your attention. I
oh
will I actually have something on
squirrel.
that. Um
Yeah,
I have my old Pentium 2 still, like right next to here. I can actually show you some
see?
of my. It's the one that I built when I was like 7. So
Nice. See, you can hop topics with the best of them. Yeah.
trying to grab the specs real quick for the, but I just keep getting articles. I don't have the actual specs. Hold on.
But yeah, at the time it was like, okay, look, I can get all these games for free, but I want to support companies that bring back classic games. So I'd buy the compilation and then just play the ROMs that I had already. So yeah, like I remember Midway Arcade Treasures Deluxe Edition had all these glitches. It had like stuff didn't work. It was really buggy,
All
but
right,
I still bought it.
I got
They
it.
patched some. Yeah. All right.
So for your PS5 and your PS5 Pro.
Oh, I was hoping to see Pentium 2, but that's
Oh
okay.
my God! Well, look here, man. Okay.
No, no, no.
So you've got the
Back
same,
on target.
pretty much the same CPU. They say variable frequency, but I've got to make sure this is like what push square. But they've got I couldn't find it on PlayStation, so I'm just going off this. They say it's the same thing. Variable frequency probably means that it's probably downclocked if it gets too hot or something. This one can stay at a pretty much the same frequency.
Hmm.
We've got a slightly higher GPU, slightly better GPU. Still an AMD Radeon RDNA graphics engine. I believe it's still the same graphics card. Like it's still the same brand. It's probably still the same. I believe it's a Navi CPU and an AMD GPU chipset. So it's just upgraded a little bit.
And you're a guy that
Um,
does benchmarking, right? So you know this stuff.
yeah, I do some benchmarking. I don't do it as much as I used to because it's very time consuming. And I never used to do it fully professionally. Like, you get like the Digital Foundry and stuff that does their own professional benchmarks. I have to do it with software, and like I have to do it with different forms of hardware. So I do it on my laptop, and I'll do it on this one. But like in order to do that, you have to record and monitor and all that other stuff. But yes, I have done it. Um, with this, I haven't been able to benchmark a console in a long time. So looking at this, to tell you if it's worth it, because you could probably now just buy a PS5 at half the cost and probably get
Are the
your money's
games
worth in the
gonna be
hardware.
like? Are the games gonna like run poorly though? On the
Well, so these are very vague, like descriptions in hardware, which mean they didn't probably grab the blueprint, but custom RDNA 2 and then RDNA GPU. So it's the same GPU, just slightly. I don't even know if it's downclocked, but um, they have 16.7 teraflops. Does anybody know what teraflops are? Fancy. It's
uh,
just a little fancy term they got going on.
is that
Um,
calculated per second? I guess I don't even know.
it's the little flops on the bottom of your ears.
Oh yeah.
It does. This one does, I guess, AI upscaling, which I thought the PS5 did some form of uh of upscaling, but okay. Um, then we've got, so I guess this one has an option to make performance better with upscaling. Then you've got same NVMe, same hardware for HD, like an HD like USB plugins, and then with the PS5, you have the addition to buy your games physically, as opposed to the Pro, you can't. It's slimmer, has a higher wattage for power, and weighs less. So, to summarize, I wouldn't say it would be worth it. But that's just me. I mean, not right now, and that's probably why nobody's buying. Is you're not getting like a significant upgrade. I mean, you were getting a significant upgrade when you went from the PS4 to the PS4 Pro, but the PS4 Pro adapted its hardware for 4K, and that was it. So it could get its games on 60 frames a second. Now we're like working with hardware that needs to go not just 60 frames, but like it needs to play more demanding games better and faster. And like we're needing graphics cards that are significantly more demanding because we're in the PC market, and they're trying to screw people in the PC market. And you can't really do that with hardware that you have on a console that's trying to make money, because hardware on the console is mid-range. So you're very funny.
Just
I
ignore
I
that.
I really feel like you just dismiss me when you do stuff like that. You're all like, "Oh, it's a neural net computer."
It's a big fancy
Oh,
computer.
here, I'll show you. Um,
The old
give me a
joke was
second.
like, I think mine is grape, like
Hold
the
on.
iMac.
I'll go get it. Speaking of classic hardware, here, I'll grab it.
I'm the last guy to talk to about like modern consoles. I'm way behind. You talk about your gigaflops and your terahertz, and it's like my head hurts. Oh, now we're talking.
So
Yeah.
just to
Look at
summarize
that.
though, the PS5 Pro is just a slightly tweaked GPU. It has a more maintained, probably more maintained like clock rate for CPU, so it could probably handle the games that the PS5 had a lower frame rate handling. So like you probably handle games at a higher quality, but like that's about it. You're getting a slight boost in performance, and you're paying
Okay.
probably double the cost.
Dang. Twice the
Like I,
pride, double the fall.
I mean, you're paying the same price as you did for a PS5 when they were new. So Korean wants to talk about Blast. You mean Kurgan? Oh, yeah. So this is I built this when I was
Freudian
7.
slip.
Of course, the added stuff I added on later on throughout the years. This is
Yeah.
can anybody tell me what this is without, um, without looking at the sticker or anything? I have the stickers removed, but can anybody tell me what this computer is? It
So I've
is an
seen it up.
old school, what do they call these? It's getting late. I'm forgetting what I think this is an ITX case, an old ITX case, because they didn't have ITX minis back then. So the monitor sat, your big monitor sat on the top, right here. But if anybody can tell me what this is, you'll get kudos. You won't get anything else because I can't reward you with anything else right now. But I'll give people like 30 seconds.
Blast processing was a real thing. Just saying.
That's Sega, my friend.
Sega.
And from my knowledge, this thing still boots up.
Hell
It
yeah.
sounds, it's really loud, but it still boots up. No takers?
Proud of you, man.
Nobody knows?
Ribby knows. He just doesn't want to show off.
Yeah, I bet he doesn't. Okay.
He's humble.
This here is a, man, I can't lift it up. This is a Dell Optiplex GXA.
Dude, you got a Dell.
It is. This is back when like gateways and Dell computers Dell computers had like a small like deal back in the day where they would send you it had like a business package where they'd send you the computer in a box, but if you wanted to build it yourself so you could customize it, you could pay less or pay more depending on like what you'd have them sent, and they would send it to you in pieces. So what happened is I get my computer in pieces. Now, granted, some of it was still put together, like the motherboard and stuff was in here. But my mom and my uncle at the time ordered different parts, like slightly upgraded parts, because you got them less if you ordered them from the site, instead of just having them put in the computer. And then more RAM and all that other garbage. And they come in big fuck off boxes. You'd have like 6 or 7 boxes stacked up at your house. And that's how that happened. And my mom said, if you could put this together with your uncle, he'll help you a little bit. He'll show you what to do. He'll like show you, he'll tell you. And if you can put it together, it's yours. It was like $1,500 or something like that for all this stuff.
That's awesome.
If I couldn't put it together, it was his. So I put it together.
We didn't. I didn't get to do anything like that until
Ribby, I say
college.
uncle. I say uncle at the time because, I mean, he's still my uncle, but I just don't ever see him. So.
Oh.
He was a computer nerd. He made bad choices in life. So we'll just say that.
Sorry to hear. Yeah,
but
so you still got it.
But yeah, I could take this thing apart. It's very easy. And this is the rare. These were rare and discontinued, by the way, because the processor is quite unique. And for anybody listening at home or in the car or whatever, you're gonna have to watch the video at some other time. But
it's a big, heavy case.
Yep.
You just see the weight on it.
Listen, I'm holding it with one hand because I'm a fool. God, there might be spiders in here.
Spiders.
I think I cleaned it out. I cleaned it out before I moved. But if anybody could see, the processor is underneath that big black heatsink.
Oh yeah.
And that heatsink is what we call a cartridge heatsink. It's not actually under. It is the heatsink because it's a cartridge processor. Which means around, I think between 95 and 97, they were doing what was called cartridge slot processors. I can't remember the technical term, but they discontinued them because they would break because of the heat. They'd get hot and they would expand and contract, and they would slide out of the socket. Or out of the, because they were cartridges, just like, video game cartridge. You just slide them in. But they invented that because they were supposed to be easy to upgrade. So, if I can remember how to take it out.
So how'd you keep yours from not breaking?
Well, I think before I stopped using it, because I didn't have this thing for very long. Ooh. I had it for super long. I think it got upgraded. And then I got my mother's Pentium 3 to play Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, which it ran like dog shit on. And then I got the XP machine, I called it, after that, which was a hand-me-down. This I played X-Wing Alliance on, and this could play X-Wing Alliance just fine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, X-Wing
So,
Alliance was
break the shit
more
out of this thing.
the technology level of Dark Forces 2.
Now I
Looked
can't,
great.
remember how this goes. This is now no longer a podcast. This is a tutorial video.
Yeah.
Well, I think you actually have to take this part off, and you have to unscrew it. I don't have my light.
There's ASMR videos that are like this. Like, you just need to change your outfit a little bit, and you got it.
They don't think there are screws in this. Oh yeah, there are. There's one screw in here. So I'm not taking this apart. But you take the one screw off, you pull, there's metal pins in here. You just pull on the metal pins, you slide it out. But the thing is that it would slide crooked. And I think they came with this screw was the fix. Because they never used to have that screw. But there's only a screw on one side. So, but this thing's all sorts of jacked up. Because it's moved multiple times. It's been in a basement. But it's got a daughter board in here. And I think my graphics card's right here. If I remember right. Man, I haven't opened this thing up in forever, but I think this is it. This is the 3DFX.
Oh, yeah.
If I can remember right.
That name meant quality at one time.
I don't even remember if I have right stuff to take it apart with, but I'm trying to line it up. I didn't even ground myself. I've probably broken this thing.
Thing.
The last time I turned it on like a year or two ago, just to see if it would still boot. Still
I
got my
bet you could
Millennium
get that
Falcon
thing.
wallpaper on there and stuff.
I bet you could get that thing running like a dream.
Oh yeah, it'll probably still run. It'll just sound like shit.
Just keep a fire extinguisher nearby just in case.
What? Clean it out though. There are metal bits on here that are getting rusty from time. Probably from moisture or like humidity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that this thing is above ground now. Because it is definitely getting old with time. I never had a chance to clean off the casing. Because the casing's all yellowed, but yeah, this thing has been part of the family for a long time.
Nice.
But I think it still has X-Wing Alliance on there. They have backed it up. Either that or the CD still in there, one of the two. Like my old copy, not the one up there.
You ever see that YouTube channel LGR Computer?
Yeah, that's right. I used to
Yeah.
go he inspired me to go thrifting for old parts. I think that's where I found that
Yeah.
updated 3DFX card.
Oh, what am I saying? You probably introduced me to him, but yeah,
Probably.
he just had some videos where he went he was affected by a hurricane, lost a lot of stuff got
Oh
destroyed.
shit, I didn't know that. He had like an
Yeah, it
original
really sucked.
Xbox that he like opened up that was out of the box, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he lost a lot of stuff, but on the good side of things, I feel like he's the kind of guy that would painstakingly like restore the stuff that was damaged. Like that would be his project.
That
I mean, after
sucks,
he gets
man.
his life back
Ooh.
together, of course. But
Yeah.
yeah, because people were like, okay, first of all, we're glad you're still alive. Second,
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
no, no. I didn't
you
know that. I haven't watched him in a while,
you can
so
you can rebuild. But yeah, we had a bunch of hurricanes come through different parts of the U.S. and I guess he was in the path of one of them. So
well, that sucks.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
because he
think
has a lot of
his
shit.
his Steam Deck was totaled, but like he
Oof.
said, oh yeah, a lot of his other stuff, like those old boxes that the stuff came in, are so good that like the stuff inside was okay, even if the boxes were like moldy. and like damaged from water and stuff.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could probably get this old boy up and running again.
Yeah.
If I had a way
Built to last.
to switch the stream over, I could probably show it, but I think I have an open plugin anywhere. But yeah, hold on, let me get this thing back in here. My hands smell like metal.
Smells good. Yep. This is what you get on the RantCast.
What, a tired Kurgan and a computer, an old computer review.
Yep. The old computer.
Well,
Yeah. The Sega Genesis had a faster processor than Super Nintendo. And even though the Super Nintendo had more on-screen colors, larger palette, they actually had to zoom the picture because the resolution was lower. And even though they had supposedly 16-bit sound, a lot of games did not do a very good job.
if it's
With the new
blast processing, its sound chip is awful though.
Yeah. Sega was full of themselves, but at the same time, I mean, they had to innovate. They had to keep up. So they did a good job. It wasn't until the Saturn era that they really screwed up. They lost millions of dollars, and
Yeah,
they made some really stupid decisions.
can never recoup.
Bad
Come back from
leadership.
that.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for me on my topics, at least for now. I was gonna pull two more, but we are at the 3 hour and 30-minute mark. And
Save them for next time.
yeah,
It's been a good run. I mean, you've persevered through your throat.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good. I might stream. So I haven't streamed in a little while. I'm trying to pick a game I want to stream. So
Don't be a fool, Marshall.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Might go the long haul.
Oh man.
I'm thinking about doing Dark and Darker again.
Interesting.
Does anybody want to join me for that?
Bohemius.
Dark and Darker? Do some Dark and Darker.
Now, is that the first game or the second game that we played? Remember, we were trying to play that
Dark and Darker is
dungeon?
the second game.
The one that worked.
We had problems. Yeah, we had problems with Dungeon Worn. I don't know if we
staring
can.
Staring at the fire.
I mean, we could try it again if you're willing to join me.
Oh, I'm out. Sorry, but
oh, come on, come
oh
on,
man,
come on. Why you gotta
don't
be
do
so? Why you gotta be a party pooper?
that. Yeah, I am the party pooper.
Yes, you are.
Put the cookie down now.
Well, I guess if nobody wants to join me, I guess I could just do Chernobyl. I guess.
Oh man.
Be good with that.
So all you folks out there looking for Christmas gifts, buy your Sega Classics now. Hold tight to your physical media. Make copies.
Yep, indeed.
Bohemius doesn't have access to his computer right now.
It sucks.
Sorry, man.
Well, if you're willing to watch the stream, Chernobylite's pretty good. I want to get Stalker too, but kind of on hold right now. So either that or play some Just Cause. One of the two. I don't know.
Or
Figure it out.
Ruby can find his Jedi Academy discs.
Well, that might get Kurgan playing.
Oh man. Calling sick for work for that. No, I'm just kidding. Allegedly. Maybe.
Allegedly.
He said allegedly. Can't prove it.
Indeed. We play some Chernobyl Light.
Download Warhammer Online.
Bohemius, why? You're not even have access to your computer, bro.
But he wants to watch you play that game because he really likes it. Well, I've never seen Chernobyl Light. I mean, I'd watch it for a few minutes
It's
as I pass out.
so it's a fictional game based off the Chernobyl incident.
Oh man.
And it's same as like Stalker. Stalker's kind of the same thing. I kind of like those games, and with what's going on, like it's kind of like a game that I'm kind of in the mood for. I played Metro. Metro was kind of the same thing.
Oh yeah, Metro.
But Metro was a lot more fictional. This is kind of the same thing, only it's it actually has some mapping of Chernobyl in it. So
you're wandering through the ruins.
Yeah,
with
it's
your radiation suit.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a roguelite and stuff. So
Interesting.
We do a group of orcs, and we wah. I've got the closest thing I've got to that right now is Warhammer. Got Warhammer 40K, I think. Let's see.
Not Space Marine 2.
I will play that, but I won't. No.
I was realizing I've never played Space Marine on Xbox 360. I wonder if I should grab that. It's like $60.
Yeah, Vermintide. So
Vermintide, yeah. Well, whatever you decide to play, I'll watch for a few minutes.
Then I'll fall asleep.
Yep, and I'll start snoring on the stream and be like, Kurgan, hey.
Wake the fuck up.
You have to play an air horn like really loud so they wake up. Yep. Speaking of which,
oh boy, Vermintide is $2 now. Well, get access to your computer, buy Vermintide, and come play with me. Easy choice.
Easy money.
That's right. Super easy. But yeah, anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. Ending the RantCast, yeah.
Thanks for joining us on the RantCast. It was fun. It was good. We meander from topic to topic, and it's mostly my fault. So thanks for playing along.
What? Topic to topic. We do just fine. We just fine.
We followed the script. Everything was planned. It's all good. Yep. So
yeah.
If you got Thanksgiving coming up, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Take care of yourselves and each other.
Keep Pepto-Bismol on hand, just in case.
We will. I'll be starting a stream soon. So, yep. Have a good night, everybody. And if I don't see you on the stream, take care. Happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving. And we'll catch you guys on the next RantCast.
All right. RantCast. RantCast.
All right, guys. Take care.
See ya.